Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing, guys? Clover, Druval, Heavy, Jaden, Zone, Bix, Versatile, Dirk, King, Shake, Clown, Kamikaze, Skull, Versatile. How we doing, guys? Guys, so a little unplanned stream today. I got invited to be on the Pullze podcast, which, if you don't know, it is probably the biggest Call of Duty related, or Warzone at least, related podcast out there. So Repulse and JGod host it. Gonna have some other people on it, so very excited. So throwing up a stream. If you guys want to watch here, you'll just be able to see my point of view, or you guys are also welcome to go to the actual podcast, which I believe Repulse hosts on his Twitch channel. Hi, King. Body Dows, hello. Dadams, hello. E-Stringer, you like the beard? Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a little rough, King. What's up, Random? How are you? Nah, it's hard to judge. All right, I'm gonna jump in their Discord. One thing, guys, I will not be able to read chat or like thank donations, members, anything like that during. So obviously, once the podcast is over, I'll chat with you guys for a bit and can go through that, but just as a warning. What's up, Bentley? How are you, man? I know. I'm sorry, Dirk. What's up, Southern? How are you? Negotiated members over? Yeah. I haven't decided, man. I might leave it for a bit. All right, I gotta turn my webcam. Got Repulse stream up and he's like literally have like a disco party going on there, bro. L streamer not reading chat. Listen, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I did start early. Hello. He read chat. I break the rules. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hi, Pivna. How are you, man? Leave the beard. I think I might just trim it up a little bit. I haven't decided. Might just trim it up slightly. Serious stream time? Yeah, I mean, I guess it'll be more serious of a thing. I mean, I don't know. L streamer doesn't read chat. I know. L streamer fell off. Cancel me. Thanksgiving was good, Call. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, we had two Thanksgiving. We got to do Friday. Or I'm sorry, we had to do Thursday with my wife's family, and then Saturday was my family's yesterday. Sunday serious stream. Dun, dun, dun. What's up, Jay? What are you doing this stream? We're going to be on a Warzone podcast with Repulse, JGod, Hunter TV, Ebates, and apparently a surprise guest. So I don't know who the surprise guest is, to be honest. Shave head, leave beard. No, that would be good looking. That would look good. Wifey's good, Biggs. Wifey's good. Thank you for asking. Alki with the 2. Here's the dono to fix the desync. Thank you, man.
Here's a dono to fix the desync plaza and tie.
I'm trying, Alki. I will do my best to talk to the devs, man. I don't know. What's up, Will? How are you, man? Ask Hunter when you killed him. I think I did end up killing him on the first day. I don't think people give Hunter enough credit for how good of a player he is, actually, though. He's a good player. Shadow bans. Yeah, I know that's something that gets talked about a lot. I'm sure it'll get brought up today. I saw Kamikaze. I am going to give Delta Force a try. It looks good, dude. Yeah, Harry. What is this? You're retired? Wait, what? Me being on a podcast equal I'm retired? What? What does that mean? I'm going to be on a podcast today, guys. I got invited on the Pullze podcast, one of the biggest Warzone podcasts. Yo, yo.
Yo, hold on. Let me see if I can turn this up. All right, can you
All
hear me
right,
okay?
chat. I probably won't be able to talk to y'all much during this.
What's good, boys? What's good?
What's going on?
How we doing? How we doing? Where's Mr. TT? You in there?
I'm here. I'm here. What's up?
Yeah, what's good, bro? Where's my #1 COD athlete over here?
I'm here. I'm here.
All
I already
right,
knew you were
fellas.
talking about me.
Yeah, that's your fucking name on the thing, bro. Oh, shit. All right. Let me see. JD, what do you need from me before I send you over there? Is my virtual camera on? Oh, JD's not even. He's in here, but he's not in here type shit. Fellas, today's podcast should be pretty fucking interesting. I can't lie. We got a
You
lot
get
of
the
different
video?
perspectives.
Did you the video I sent you, the
Can you hear
link?
me?
Yeah, I downloaded it. JD has it. Okay, we got to figure that out, Hunter, because I don't think we're gonna just. Yo,
No,
JD,
no, yeah.
turn off the heater, bro. Yo, JD, our ears. Yo, yeah, because like 7 minutes, you know what I'm saying? Like if there's any parts that you're like, yo, skip to this part so we can like talk about it, or maybe we can have it as background noise or background stuff as we talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, 7 minutes is crazy, bro.
I mean, it's just 7 minutes of bugs, man. Straight up. Like,
If it's 7 minutes of Hunter, you know it'll be worth it.
yeah,
for sure.
dude. Like, even just the first clip alone will have you like mind blown. I don't
And
know
this
if
is-
anyone's shown it before. It happened to anybody but me. But I'm not saying what it is until we, show it
And
off.
this is just bugs, but you quite literally just playing the game and it happened.
Yes, like I'm not doing anything outrageous, and I even cut things they fix, like things they fix, I cut out just to make sure, like, we're not showing things already fixed,
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see. I'm waiting for. Let me get my boy, our last guest in here.
Yeah, I
oh,
want to
he's
know who
here.
this surprise guest is.
Yo,
Hello,
Ty,
hello.
Ty, you in here, bro?
Hello.
What's good, Ty? What's good, man?
How's it going?
How's it going, Bobby? You doing good, bro?
Oh, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Vibing, man, vibing, bro. I'm obviously gonna give you an introduction right when we start, but yo, Mr. T and Hunter, for those of y'all that don't know Tyler, I call him Ty. Tyler, I can already talk, right? Like it's cool. There's no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Tyler's an ex Treyarch dev. And so he's hopping on the pod, man, to give us a little bit of perspective on everything and just talk about things, So this is Tyler. Tyler, I guess I'll ask you questions, but if you want to give them a brief, little quick, I guess thing about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm Tyler. So I some of you guys know me, but I worked at Treyarch for 2 years up until this previous January. So most of you guys probably know me from Rank Play. So one of the main devs behind Rank Play, both for MP and Warzone. So yeah, I mean that's me. I'm super excited. I want to make one thing very, very clear, if it wasn't already clear enough. I don't work at Activision anymore in any capacity.
I like that.
Nothing that I say today is a reflection of an official Activision stance. This is all my own opinions or my own insights as a game designer, right? So there might be some things, like some questions that if you ask me, I might not answer them, right? I might just like, yeah, good question. Wish I could tell you. Or I wish I knew the answer. I'm not going to have the answers to everything, right? So I'm not. We're not here to break any news or spoil anything or any leaks. We're not getting any of that. So my friends at Activision, hopefully, can relax a little bit because it'll be all right, dude. It'll be all right.
Yeah. So again, once the podcast actually starts, we'll have you say that again because I know just.
Okay, sure.
But I just wanted to intro you to T and Hunter for those that don't know who you are and stuff like that. But hold on, chat. JD's getting ready, and then we'll switch screens, and then we'll start the actual pod. I'm waiting for JD on this end. I'm excited, boys. This one should be a good one.
Chat, I was actually really confused
Right, that pops. Right, that. Okay.
when he introduced himself as Tyler. 'Cause my name's Tyler.
Fellas, I probably will do introductions for like Ty, and Hunter, just for anybody who hasn't been on recently. Let's grab this. How the hell do I grab this? Oh. All right. All right.
Harry, I saw your message, by the way. All right, so guys, we are about to get started with the podcast. So for those that are just tuning in, I am going to be on. This is the Pullze check. This is probably the biggest Warzone podcast out there. It's hosted by Repulse and JGod. There's some other guests that are going to be on it. We've got Hunter TV, Ebates, and then a former Treyarch dev, Tyler. So it should be a good thing. Basically, we're going to just discuss about the state of the game, go over some things. Should be pretty good. Thank you, Walk. Harry sounds like he likes them. But I won't really be able to interact with chat and whatnot during, so I do apologize, guys. I think they said the podcast will usually go for about an hour and a half or so. Once it's over, I'll probably hang out and chat with you guys for a little bit.
Hello there.
Jay, welcome back for 26 months. I probably will not be able to thank donos and members and all that during the stream once we get started here. But Jay, I appreciate you, dude. Yeah, I'll blink if I'm in distress, Dirk. What's up, Marksman? If you want to watch the full podcast, if you go to Repulse on Twitch.
One set up so you can do intros while I finish.
All right, are you sure we got enough time? You sure you have enough time? Okay. All right, bro. Hey, JD, I thought you bought a new mic. Okay. That one's crazy, bro. That one's crazy. All right, JD, let me know whenever you want me to end here, and we'll end up there. Hold on.
Three rapid blinks to get rescued. What's up, Askir? I don't know when the next update is, Judd, unfortunately, buddy. What's up, Huck? What's up, Roflo?
Baby. Let's see if it is loaded up.
What's up, Dirt?
All right.
What's up, Agent?
All right, JD, you let me know whenever we're good to go because I obviously cannot tell, what's going on.
This scene's good to go. You can do all your intros and stuff like that, and then I can fix the other one.
Okay. All right, fellas, are we ready to go?
Ready to rock?
We locked, baby.
Do it.
Everybody good? Nobody needs any extra time? Jay, go. You good?
Good.
Okay. All right, fellas. Again, as always, before we start, fellas, say whatever the fuck y'all want to say. You know what I'm saying? I personally don't care. Obviously, if you guys care about, what I'm saying? This is not, be nice or, you have to agree with everything that we all say. This is strictly you guys' own opinions. Whatever y'all want to say is whatever y'all want to say, and we go from there. All right? Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. JD, monitor the audio levels. Somebody said it's low. And then we'll start, man. Okay. All right, fellas, we good to go? I'm going to start this shit up, man. Yeah. All right, I'm sorry.
Yep.
All right.
All good.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pullze Check podcast. Boy, do we have a special one for you guys today. I mean, first of all, let me introduce all our guests. There's a couple of first timers here, and then I think Hunter's been here before, but we're gonna have to, brush you guys up on my boy, man. But as always, we got my man Ebates, we got my man JGod, and then we got my man Hunter. Hunter, quickly, man, talk to us, bro, about you. I know you've been on the podcast before, but give everybody a brief little, description of you, man.
All right, so I'm Hunter TV. I'm a Call of Duty YouTuber. I've been a top Call of Duty YouTuber for almost 5 years now. Mainly Warzone, but multiplayer, zombies, anything, all that stuff.
Okay. All right, man. Yeah, go check out his YouTube. He's actually correct when it comes to.
I'm the reason the
YouTube, man.
Ratskin's in the game. Just letting everybody know. Like actually not trolling. So yeah.
I love that. I love that shit. All right, man. Next, we have T Captain, who is a first-time guest. And let me tell you, bro, before he tells you a little bit about himself, I'm just gonna glaze him real quick. This man T has been doing the Lord's work when it comes to like finding bugs, finding issues, finding little things, man. So T, brother, you're doing amazing fucking work, man. You're doing good, bro.
Appreciate
I
it.
thought I would glaze you a little bit, man. But go ahead, man. Talk to everybody about who you are and stuff like that, man.
Yeah. So my name is also Tyler, but you can call me TCap, whatever rolls off the tongue. Yeah, I've been making Warzone content basically since the game dropped, and kind of in the educational realm, but do a little bit of everything. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay. All right, man, bro. And finally, we do have a very special guest today, which I've been wanting to have this guest for what, maybe like a long time, man. And so we're finally able to make it happen, man. This is my GOAT, Tyler. He is an ex-Treyarch dev, and I won't sit here and tell you about him. I'll let him do it himself. But Tyler, man, welcome to the Pullze podcast. Finally, we made it happen. Go ahead and tell everybody a little about yourself, man.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm super excited. A little bit nervous. Everyone be super nice, please. But so like Hector said, I worked at Treyarch for about 2 years. Stuff that I did that you guys would probably be familiar with is obviously rank play. So one of the main devs behind Warzone rank play, MP rank play. Worked on other stuff like challenges and theater mode and like combat records and all those kind of system stuff. So yeah, that's me. I worked there, like I said, for 2 years, up until this last January. So I don't work there anymore, to be very crystal clear.
Yeah, do you want to, what you told us earlier, I don't know what you want to say.
Yeah, sure. So just to put this out there, like I said, I don't work there anymore. I am in no way affiliated with Activision. Nothing that I say today is any official Activision Treyarch stance or viewpoint or anything. This is all just my opinions about the game and where we're at and everything like that. I might be able to have some cool insights and just the way that like game design and stuff like that works. But I won't be leaking anything. I won't be saying anything that isn't already out there, revealed to the public. So sorry if that disappoints some of you, but
all right, man. Yo, so that is the panel for today, man, and we got a lot of things to discuss today. I think that the big
Is this better,
ones
chat?
are quite frankly,
Or do you want just
the
one full
state
screen?
of the game and how everything is where it's at right now. I think all of us here have different opinions on what we all think of the game, which is good. I like that we all think differently. And then Tyler, I want you to obviously whatever you can talk about, right? Anything that we have or that we talk about, and we're like, yo, I don't know what they're thinking over there, right? Obviously, if you can talk about it and you can give a little bit of insight, that'd be awesome because a lot of us probably don't even know how things are behind the scenes and like how things actually work, right? Obviously, without you ever even remotely getting in trouble, I don't want anything, you to say anything that you shouldn't. But I do think we want a little bit of different perspective from somebody who's been in the trenches over there with them, So first and foremost, fellas, let's just start a very open-ended question. What do you guys think the state of the game is right now? And I guess, are you guys having fun, man? I guess, Mr. T Captain, I'll let you go first, man.
It's rough. It's definitely not as good as it could be. I mean, I am having fun at the end of the day, but I will say from someone that is a content creator that it's demoralizing seeing the state of the audience and how they view it, seeing overall viewership be down so significantly. I mean, this is, I think, much worse than when we entered Warzone 2 from a viewership perspective, but I am having way more fun than when Warzone 2 dropped personally. So it's kind of a mix of things. It's definitely not the most fun I've ever had, but it's not the worst at the same time.
Okay. All right. Mr. Jago, man, talk to us, bro.
I'll say similar, or kind of what he was saying. One thing is I will say it is fun until you end up running into bugs or other issues that are problems. And the problem right now is there's so many of the bugs and so many of the issues that like you're just getting railroaded the entire time you play. And it's like, I'm going to get off immediately because otherwise I'm just going to be pissed off at the game that should be fun. But it's like these things are stopping you from having the fun on a regular basis, whether it's your guns aren't picking up properly, it's not loading in properly. There's other issues I don't know. I made a list of like 40 different things.
Yeah.
There's issues. So it is what it is.
Okay. All right, Mr. E Bates, talk to me, man.
Yes, sir. I would say the game right now, sorry, I thought I was muted. The game right now for me, it's enjoyable, but there's something missing, and I think a lot of that's probably due to the fact that we didn't get big map. We didn't get a new big map, and like the big map that they're using right now is honestly just, it's bad. It's not a good map. It's not a great map, especially because they went back a few months. So I think me personally, like I enjoy Area 99. I do think that kind of what Jake was touching on a little bit. There's some bugs and stuff like you can't even pop UAVs right now, or sometimes it gets stuck if you try to pop an advanced UAV. There's just like little things that are kind of frustrating. Obviously I'm sure we'll go into it a little bit later. Bullet reg feels all over the place. So the game right now for me, it's enjoyable, but I don't know, watching it, like I don't, whenever I'm not playing, I'm not watching it. Like I'm not watching content or anything like that. The game just kind of feels stale. So I feel like there's a lot of potential, but it just depends on if they're gonna.
Chat, I turned up their Discord. Let me know if that's a better volume.
Okay. All right. Mr. Hunter, man, I know you're gonna cook, so you want to go
No,
last or you
hold
want to go
on.
now?
I want to make a disclaimer. I'll go last.
Okay. Tyler, man, talk to me, man. What you think about the game, and not specifically Black Ops 6, right, but just in general, Warzone state right now?
I mean, like I'm having fun. I've obviously probably played the least amount out of all of you of the live version of the game. Obviously, I've played the game Black Ops 6 in general for 2.5 years now, right? So,
Damn, yeah.
but I mean, I have fun. I honestly agree with a lot of the things you guys are saying. A lot of the things that are wrong with it. Like from a Warzone perspective, I'm super bummed that we're stuck on Urzikstan, at launch. So yeah, I mean, we can. I'll go into some things that I personally don't like a little bit later, I'm sure. But I think overall I'm having fun though. Like
Okay. All right. Mr. Hunter, man, go ahead, bro. Mic is yours,
Hey,
brother.
hold on. I want to be absolutely clear here. I'm not here to talk shit about the game compared to previous versions of the game. Overall, I think it's absolutely terrible. Not because of like just the core mechanics, all that. There's so many bugs. I run into a bug every 30 seconds where it derails the idea that I'm playing a battle royale game, because it's really just random on what bug you're gonna get and how it's gonna get you killed. And so, I mean, I would love for you to pull up the first clips of the thing I sent you. Just pull up the first clip, because
What's funny is I'll add to what Hunter's saying too, is because I watch a lot of streams, and it's almost like streamers have figured out the skill gap of figuring out how to counteract these bugs in real time so they don't run into them.
That's actually insane.
I want to be
It's sad, bro.
That's a
It's
crazy
sad.
skill gap.
Yeah, I want to be clear though. I've been playing a lot. I was ranked top 300 at the beginning of the season for battle royale and like overall leaderboard. Like for a week straight, I was top 300. I was actually playing the game, and I've been playing a lot of research. I've been like trying to sweat, camo grind. I've done a lot of different things, just messing around, and all around just bugs kill the experience completely. And you know how proc chat's broken. I hear people in game chat every single game screaming about some bug they're encountering. The entire game, you just hear people, oh, I got this bug. This bug happened to me. So if you could point out, okay, so the clip that's showing on screen right now is an example. Okay, so pause it real quick. Can we pause this real quick?
Down, bro.
No, let me pause real quick. Okay, let me give an explanation of this. Okay, so this is a bug you can have happen really easily to you. So as I was mantling sideways, someone downed me, and then when my friend revived me, it put me in this down state. And let me show you how this ruined the experience for other players. This is an example of the experience being ruined for other people. So hit play up real quick on this. So I was testing, I was like, do other people see this? So I walked up to this window, and this guy camping, and he doesn't see this. Okay, watch. Look.
Oh, you were cooking.
Just what? Look.
Wait.
Just wait. Watch the end of the game now. Watch the end of the game. I just wanted to make sure this is an example. This happens consistently. Look. These guys have no clue. They're like, what is shooting me? Okay, so that's just an example. just pause now. This is an example of something that happens daily, where it's like, are we playing a battle royale anymore, or are we playing just, I just got home from work, let me rot my brain cells for a few hours and then go to bed? It's just, there's so many bugs right now where I feel like this integration's unfair compared to what we had, how long ago? 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I just feel like we're not really where we should be, and it's kind of just killing the overall experience for a lot of people. There's way more. There's a lot more clips in here that are surprising, but that's just the most surprising one.
That's
just
insane.
So for
Yeah.
those that didn't understand that, he on other people's screens he's down technically, so
Yeah.
that's why they can't see him. So on their screen they're literally like,
Yeah, it's like he's prone behind cover.
Yeah, but I'm seeing everybody.
The
It's
ultimate
like
head
a
glitch.
super snake glitch, you know?
Yeah, and all I did was go down sideways while mantling. I was literally, and it's funny too because there's no audio in the clip. But my friend's like, I can't even revive you. You have to self res. So there's 2 bugs. My friend can't even
Oh.
revive me, so I have to self res, and then bam, I'm like laying on the floor running around. So it's like there's an example of how my experience was affected by not being able to get revived, and everybody else in the game that unfortunately came across me was affected by it. You know, so it's like so many, multiple people right there just got hit with negative feelings about the game based off a bug. So it's like
Right.
I have a
the
quick question.
bugs
Could you force yourself into that? Like if you put a prox mine on the ground or like shot it or like held a frag grenade?
probably because if you're if
Oh.
you're
He's
mantling,
thinking of his TikTok later.
so if you're mantling sideways as you go down, it could potentially happen. That's what caused it. So,
Got it.
Interesting.
again, not dissing the game. There's other clips in there where I grabbed a grenade and all of a sudden I'm 10 feet tall and I'm walking around buildings and then I couldn't get the gun. I don't know if you guys have the bug where you can't pick up guns, you can't hold guns, you're just kind of like existing. That happens so many times. This is the reason it's so frustrating to play. I love playing besides that.
So speaking on this, I think this is probably like a universal issue, right? J God touched on it in I think he commented on a clip or something like that. Like the game, what it registers, it seems like it's delayed than what's actually being shown, if that makes sense. So for example, one example is when you're swapping weapons. Now, before, like as soon as you hit triangle, even in the process of switching the weapons, and let's say you pick something up, you will switch out the gun. Let's say Modern Warfare 3, you'll switch out the gun that you switch to, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Now you have to wait till the animation is literally on the gun, like you stop bringing out your gun and then pick up something else. If not, it'll replay. It calls for weird inventory management. And then J God recently commented on a Twitter post about somebody like aiming down sight to a knock, but for some reason the game wasn't registering that the guy was aimed down sight, right? J God, if that correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, he wasn't fully aimed down sight, so it looks like it was a hip fire kill.
Yeah. I think that's a new change where you have to be fully zoomed in for your hipfire spread to completely go away. So whereas previously, if you were like half zoomed in, your hipfire spread would tighten. So like you could 3/4 scope someone with like a sniper scope and you could normally hit them. Whereas now, until you are fully scoped in, it's still taking into account that full hipfire spread.
And I think that is a new thing that people aren't talking about. But primarily, if like the game came out perfectly like polished, we'd be talking about it. Probably being a problem. But because there's so many other issues, we can't even talk about like the actual problems.
It's a lower tier bug.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I want to touch on more bugs. Sorry. So,
He's got more.
sorry, there's
No, it's
more,
good.
like,
This is good.
It makes the experience bad. So, if pull the clips back up and you go to 3 minutes and 49 seconds, go to 3 minutes 49 seconds on here if you could, just to give you like multiple people are affected by this part right here, and it's happened to me multiple times. There's 2 different clips where it's happened. Okay, hit play real quick. Okay, so it's not the airstrike part. I'm sure they fixed this. I just wasn't sure, so I kept it in there. Okay, so this part right here. Pause it right here. I came back, jailbreak happens. Awesome, like everyone's excited. We get to get back in the game. We worked hard. Look at my kills, 13 kills. So there's a jailbreak bug. I'm stuck in this spectate play again thing when we all come back, and I hit the ground. And then if you continue playing here, none of my friends can move. None of my friends can move. My friend can move right here. He revives me, and then it freezes him into place, and I can only look in one direction. So I'm running around like hoping I can run to a buy station in one direction and get everybody up.
Oh, that's the new Omni movement.
Yeah, and then hit pause again. Right here.
Fluidity.
I revive my friend. I'm like, let's run to the building. All of a sudden, I'm frozen in place. I can't move the entire game. Game's over for me. So it's like things like that. I'm like, dude, I've been in this game for 20 minutes, and this is how I go out. I revive my friend and it freezes. So it's the whole idea again of just everything's breaking, and every moment you're coming across something that's like, dude, please, like I need something going for this right now. So that was the last thing I want to touch on with that one.
So let's talk about it, right? We'll talk about what we actually think needs to be addressed. But the biggest thing here, and I think it's the overarching subject today, is, and I want everybody's opinion here, is we talked about it a little bit last podcast, but do you guys think that Warzone every year should be a brand new thing? For example, we saw from Caldera to Warzone 2, completely different, right? Warzone 2 to Modern Warfare 3. You can make the argument that kind of like it's completely different, but also the same, right? And then now this year things are completely different, but also the same kind of, right? But every year it seems to be that they're starting from scratch, starting from zero, right?
I
Let,
like
let
I
me
keep.
let me
Oh, go ahead.
yeah. Let me so I would love nothing else more than if Warzone did not get updated like this every year. Like I think hopefully it goes without saying, like game dev is hard, right? Like it is so complicated. It's just like any software development out there, right? Like it is incredibly difficult. And most games, like games take years to develop, right? You look at games like think just like single player games like your Elden Rings and your God of Wars and like these big AAA games, like those are in development for years before they come out, right? And even those games come out with some like, some bugs and stuff like that too. So even our Call of Duty games, like yeah, we come out with a new Call of Duty every year, but because of like the rotating studios, like it's not like there's 1 year to develop every game. Like Black Ops
Right.
6 had multiple years to to develop or whatever. Warzone kind of gets the short end of the stick there because Warzone does come out with a new integration and a new update every year, right? But they're also supporting a live title every year as well. So it's like there's just so little room to breathe that I wish that it was different. Now, do I think that's ever going to happen? Probably not. But I would I think
Can
it'd be so
you
much better.
can you touch a little bit on why it would not happen?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think that well, I mean, yearly releases are never going to stop because of money, right? Like,
Right,
I think
right.
that's not some secret sauce. Like, obviously, they make a
Yeah.
they make a ton of money every year when Call of Duty comes out, and that includes like Warzone players, right? Like, all of you, I think, are all main Warzone players, right? Like everyone here,
Yeah.
yeah, Warzone over MP, right? All of you buy the game every year too, right?
Mhm.
And so it's just a lot of money, I think, and that's like it's easy to go like they just care about money and I mean, but like that's a legitimate, like it's a business at the end of the day, right? So it's like
Right.
they want to make money. Where that line is and how you balance that, between making sure the game is, we don't have situations where it's like we're on podcasts talking about, man, this game is so sick, but there's just so many bugs, right?
Right.
So why
Yeah.
did in Warzone 1 did we stay on the same game engine platform for like 3 years versus the last 3 years has been new each year with each game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I have a great answer for that. Like I said, I've only been here since so I came on in like January of 2022, right? And
Okay.
so that was during the Vanguard cycle. And I didn't really even get involved with Warzone until a little bit later, like when I started working on Warzone rank play. And so uh why it started changing so much, I don't know. Now, in terms of the engine thing, I could go off about for a while about everyone using the term engine and what
Yeah.
that actually means, and why it's usually not what anyone in the COD community talks about. It's honestly, it's kind of besides the point, anyways. But I mean, even back in the day, like there was still big integrations, right? And they still, but I think the point is they didn't, like the core mechanics, they pretty much like brought in the weapons, right? But the core
Yeah.
mechanics of the game stayed the same.
Right.
But during that time, correct me if I'm wrong, you had plenty of players saying like, "Oh, I don't like how the games are different. Like, I play MP and it feels like a totally different game, and then I go play Warzone and it feels like a totally different game." Like there were complaints about that too. So it's like we can look back with kind of a little bit like rose tinted glasses, right? But like there were complaints then too. They were just different.
Right. Right. So I actually, because if you want to talk about it, right, the whole engine thing, because I'm under the understanding that technically the engine doesn't quote unquote matter as much as people think it does. Correct? Like it's like you can do anything you want on certain engines, right? Because everybody always talks about how Modern Warfare 2019 engine is the best ever, but like all they're just the reason that it made it good was just the design choices that team had
Yeah, I don't
at
think
that
it-
given time, right?
I think it's really as simple as that. Like the engine and this whole like IW versus Sledge versus Treyarch engine. Like first of all, it's that's not really even as much of a thing as it has been like in past years, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever.
Mm.
The game is pre- I'm oversimplifying things here, but like it's essentially just it's all the same, right? Like all the complaints that people talk about with the engine, like a lot of that comes down to more design things. Like it's not really a tech issue.
Right. Okay, that's what I was like under the impression of, that you can pretty much do anything you want with the engine. It's all the same engine, but just Treyarch games, IW games, they all feel different because those are design choices by each individual studio. That's at
Yeah,
least in
yeah.
my
I mean, think about like a game engine is gosh, what's a good example? You can honestly think about it almost like a Photoshop. Like Photoshop is a software that a bunch of people use to like edit photos, and like you can go in with this same Photoshop software and you can come out with vastly different things that are just look like
Okay.
nothing the same, right? A game engine is kind of in that similar vein where like it's a software that you use to create a game, right? Like but it essentially like it's just a tool that you use to make the thing you want. Now obviously there are like there are advantages and disadvantages to different engines, but like we're talking about like the engine that Call of Duty uses versus like Unreal Engine, which is what like Epic
Fortnite.
uses, like
Yeah,
Fortnite,
yeah.
right? Like those are different engines, but even those things, like there's advantages and disadvantages that would not really be super interesting to talk about. But and I'm not a super like that's not my area of expertise either, right? Like and so I couldn't even talk about the differences that much if I wanted to. But the bottom line is like the whole engine thing is just not
Yeah,
really
it's
a
more
thing.
design
Like,
choice.
it's just not really a thing. Yeah.
So is this year a
Okay.
new engine compared to last year?
No.
No, it's the same engine. So
I have a question about that. Though. Oh, sorry. Never mind.
no, I was just gonna say, like, what's the reason for the amount of introduction of so many new bugs? Is it because they have to start over from scratch and rebuild the game if it's the same engine, or is it just because when you're implementing all these new things, it's like you're recoding things? Or
Yeah, I mean, you just think about it. Like MW3 last year, right, was making changes throughout the year, right? But Black Ops 6 has started, like Black Ops 6 has been in development for years, right? And so
Yeah.
even if they're on the same engine, it's not just like everything that happens in MW2 is automatically copied over to what is being worked on in Black Ops 6. Now, it's a lot easier because like there's sort of this shared engine type of thing. It's a lot easier to eventually, you know, get changes over and stuff like that. But like software development is just so complicated that it's not like just right click copy, right click paste, right? That these things happen. So yes, it's on the same engine, right? But it's not just like everything that was happening last year is
Right.
already in Black Ops 6. Like Black Ops 6 was already being developed on its own, right?
So I guess the question is like, is it even possible for them to completely separate it? Because like you guys said, this is for everybody, right? It's like when Modern Warfare 2019 came out, a lot of people consider that the gold standard. Like that's the popular opinion. Some people disagree with that. That's fine, right? But when they went the 1 year, like T said, was they went from Modern Warfare 2019 to Cold War. They kept quote unquote the same movement mechanics. Let's not even say engine. They kept the same mechanics, and all they did was they integrate the guns. In my opinion, and there's a question for everybody. That's the way I think Warzone should always be. It has one base movement system, and then so that way they don't have to start from scratch every single year. Go ahead. I want to talk to you guys.
One thing I always felt like is that when we had Warzone 1 and it went through the 3 years, it felt like obviously it was a surprise, COVID, like it wasn't expected to have that run. And I think
Right.
from the outside looking in, and from when we went to Next and we got to, you know, experience the game early for Warzone 2, it felt like they were kind of all in on this Warzone 2 idea of all these changes that were going to happen. And what happens is after that, when it kind of from outside looking in, it felt like it flopped. That the decisions were already made to like, okay, let's work on the next, how we're going to change this because this isn't working. And by the time we got to MW3, it was cooking. In the beginning, it wasn't like perfect, but by the time the end, they've already been working on the next thing they were cooking because the decisions were made previously for them to work on it. It's not like, oh, you know what? They're liking MW3 now. Let's just scrap the thing we've been working on for the past year for Warzone. At least that's the way it feels. Like these decisions are already made and they're kind of like committed to them. And If it worked out, then it'd be like, cool, we don't need to change anything this year. But like, based off how bad this start has been, they might already be like, all right, we need to be working on next year's solution to today's problem. But I don't know how truthful that is. That's just like from the outside looking in, that's how it feels. And that's why we had the changes these past 3 years versus those first 3 years where we didn't have as much. But then like everything is like a course correction to kind of solve for what happened in Warzone 2. But I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess then what I'm curious in is every year, right? Obviously something happens to where everything changes, right? And Tyler, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but my thing is, okay, so then every year for Warzone, does that mean, for example, IW was in charge of 2022 Modern Warfare 2, right? They were the ones in charge, right? And then next year, Sledgehammer's in charge of that Warzone. And next year, now this year, Black Ops 6 or Treyarch is in charge, right? Obviously, we know Raven is like helping them throughout the whole process, so because they're stuck on Warzone, right? But like, I just from somebody that doesn't know these kind of things, how does it work when a new studio comes into play? Because obviously there's so many changes that we had last year, default perks, where we thought 3 weeks ago the game was in a pretty good spot. And now fast forward to 3 weeks from now, right? Or 3 weeks now, it's like the game, there's so much stuff that we had, quality of life, that was just, it's gone, right? So like, is that just like, hey, this is their Warzone now. This is Treyarch's Warzone. Like, you know?
No. I mean, at the end of the day, like Raven is in charge of Warzone, right? Like it is Raven's game. But I mean, yeah, like every year there's these fun, new, cool things like Omni movement this year, right? Like nobody questioned ever that it's like, oh, we want Omni movement in Warzone, right? So it's not like, oh, like this year's Treyarch's and you know, next year so and so and next year so and so or whatever. Like Raven is in charge, but I mean, most of the time they're not going to look at the cool new things that are coming to the mainline Call of Duty game or the MP, you know, version of Call of Duty and go like, yeah, we don't need that stuff. But that being said, like that's also really tough because then they have less time than anyone else to integrate these things. And like I said, software development in general is just so complicated. So it's like, it's not just like, you know, just copy things over and they work perfectly, right? Like there's probably more bugs in Warzone than there are in MP, right? Like that's pretty,
for sure.
That's a pretty safe. That's a pretty safe thing to say, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's just tough. Like I really do think that the way that it was kind of done before, while there were definitely complaints because MP and Warzone felt different, right? And you know, the UI was always different every year because, you know, the mainline, you know, MP game would change and then Warzone kind of still stuck with that, you know, 2019. I even hated that. Like before I worked on it, like it always felt weird to me that it's like, oh, they're the same game, but like they're also not the same game. But like when you look at the options, right? Like I just don't feel like Warzone should be changing so drastically like every year, right? Like,
well, they even had the thing with the pro players. They were basically not allowed to play Warzone because of the difference.
True. Like a lot of them didn't. Like not that they weren't allowed, not that they weren't allowed, but they
because it would like they'd get used to how the movement felt in Warzone, and it's so drastic to MW2 or MW 2019 or whatever they were playing that like they basically couldn't play Warzone because then they would develop habits and they'd play with auto attack sprint or whatever nonsense.
Okay. You're talking about like MP like CDL pros back in you know MW 2019 and you know all that stuff. Yeah. I mean that makes sense. So I mean here's the thing. I think what ultimately like is jarring is that the MP game, we've been in this cycle for obviously what 15 plus years, no more than that, like almost 20 years, right? Where like a new game comes every year, like it's kind of expected, right? Battle royales just are so much different that it's not like, look at Fortnite, right? Like Fortnite has made a ton of changes over its life cycle, but like you're not getting like a wholesale new Fortnite every single year. Right. And so like there's changes that like people, you know, like changes and people don't like changes. And, you know, it's not like the game doesn't change or doesn't evolve, but like it's just so jarring every year. And both from a player perspective and from like a you know, developer perspective, like that's just tough. That's just tough to do.
From a dev sense, then do you think it would be like if it was your choice, would you guys prefer to just keep building off the same thing year after year instead of this like starting from scratch every year?
Warzone, right? You're talking about Warzone in particular?
For the Warzone side.
Sure.
For the Warzone side, absolutely. Yeah. No, I would, if it were up to me, I would absolutely do that. I would separate the games and they would be completely their own things. I think there could still be some crossover type stuff, like, introducing new weapons or cycling weapons. Because Call of Duty is different from other battle royales in the fact that it's like the gunsmith and like that's such a core Call of Duty thing, right? That's kind of the biggest thing every year is like all the new content, all the new weapons and attachments and the way gunsmith works and everything like that, right? So like you obviously don't want to take any of that stuff away. So like there's cool things about integrating every year, but I think like on a base level, I would love if Warzone was able to just do its own thing. And I also think that like that would be cool for Raven too. Like where they could just kind of have full control. Now, again, it's never as easy as that because they are the same game. And so like you will never get away from people. It's like if MP gets something really, really cool, but then Warzone is its own game now and Warzone doesn't get that thing. Well, it's like now we have that conversation, right? It's like, well, wait, why don't we have that? Like, could you imagine if we didn't get Omni movement this year? Like, oh yeah. Like imagine we were still on Modern Warfare 2019, right? And every year all we did was just integrate new weapons and cycle weapons out would be really cool. But imagine that we just like integrated new stuff every year, but like we were still playing the same game, like same movement and all that stuff. And then Black Ops 6 came out with Omni movement, and we're just sitting here going like, well, it looks like they're having fun. Like that wouldn't go over well either,
Yeah, like
go ahead. I had a question about something. So when it comes to the integrations and stuff, I don't know if you can answer this or if you know, but how come the maps are a little bit different when it's the same map? So I'll give you an example. I have it in the video if you want to play. It's at 5 minutes 50 seconds. So in Urzikstan, there's this one building layout across multiple landscapes of Urzikstan. It's this building that has a little hole. You can crouch through the hole or you can slide through the hole. But ever since this integration happened with Urzikstan, you can't slide through that hole anymore. It's like you're almost too big for the hole. And also, same with Rebirth. There's like this one ladder on the side of what's the area? Next to Grandma's house. What is it? It's got a ladder.
It's at Nova, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or
so
what
this
used to be
ladder
called
on
Nova.
Nova, it almost feels like your operator's too big to finish getting at the top of the ladder, but it's like that hole in the wall in Urzikstan that you can't go through anymore. That was, you could go through it 3 weeks ago. You can see right here after this parachute clip. that hole right there, you can see it right there. So I show that you can't go through it. If you play the clip, you see me in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, which is obviously the Warzone one. I show that you can go through that hole. So like, what's the process of where something like that can break just by random? Because I've noticed a lot of the map feels a little bit scaled different. I've seen other people talk about it. So you can see right here, same hole, I go right through it, and it's like,
I've
how
seen
does that
people
happen?
say that with the operator sizes feel bigger or smaller.
Yeah. What's like? Do you have any like ideas how that could happen?
Yeah. I mean, do I have ideas how it could happen? Like in a general sense, like, yeah, it kind of goes along the same lines with what I was saying earlier. That being said, like, I'm not a level designer. So like, I've never touched the map ever.
Okay.
Right? So totally, definitely not my area, but I think again, it's along the same lines that it's like, nothing is just copy paste. Right.
Okay.
And I think that's the best way I can explain it. Now, I'm not saying that it's like, no, it's just it's hard and nothing's copy paste and it's not that big of a deal. Like that sucks. Like that shouldn't happen, right? Like, I think that gets into the conversation of just like how fast these things move and it's easy to miss things like that. I mean, even if they had 10 years, it's not like there wouldn't be things like that get missed. But
yeah, and I noticed also same with I'm the Rebirth location is messing me up. It's the really long building that's next to Bio.
Decon.
What's it? Yeah, so in Decon, I noticed there's this railing. It's the first floor stairs that go up towards the Decon buy station, not the one from the tunnel. It's the one that's in the middle of the building. I noticed you can't mantle onto like the side of it to get up the stairs faster because I was getting shot at and I was like, let me just mantle and get upstairs real quick. And all of a sudden, I remember 3 weeks ago I was mantling over this thing and now I can't. So it's like there's a lot of issues like that. I also feel like go with the integration is the map there's a lot of things you can't do now that you could do before. So that's
Well,
why I was curious
it was
about
also
that.
weird before too because we had kind of a similar issue with MW3 when it first, like, you couldn't go through some windows properly if you didn't
Yeah.
have like the mantles, and it was like, what the hell happened? Because we were able to go, like, aren't the windows like one dimension and we're the
Yeah.
like, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Those things are wonky.
The scaling, I don't know. The
Did it-
scaling is just off. Like I just want everybody here to remember that Tyler works on a very specific part of the game.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
know we're asking him so many different. Yeah,
past
worked.
tense.
Sorry,
wanna-
worked. So just so everybody's clear when asking him questions, just so y'all know, because he doesn't know everything, right? But like,
Yeah.
sorry, Tyler, I don't want you to get overwhelmed.
I kind of want to go back.
No, we're good.
I kind of want to go back to like what we were talking about, like with like yearly integrations with Warzone, like games like Apex, Fortnite. I mean, I even like talk about like Dota, League of Legends. Like they have this like core of the game that you could hop on the game now, and you're like, even if you played it 10 years ago, it's basically the same game. Like it's not a whole different feel. And that's the thing that's like I think frustrating with Warzone is that yeah, sure, we want these new updates and like stuff that we can like appreciate something new, but the games just feel so different. And I think that's what's frustrating. Like if we had Omni movement, like the movement we have now does not feel anything that's close to Modern Warfare 2019. So if we added Omni movement to the Modern Warfare 2019 movement, it would have been like this whole like I feel like people would have been interpreting this whole like integration thing differently because we're not getting a whole new game. It's like I feel like Warzone had such a successful launch where releasing a successful game at all is like incredibly difficult. So the fact that they're trying to find any kind of success doing a new launch every single year, I just feel like it's not going to work. And you can't keep chasing like these gold. It's like basically like chasing gold medals, like gold trophies. Like you're not going to keep releasing banger after banger after banger. Like one year you're going to fuck up, and that's what happened with Warzone 2. So I feel like if they just found what worked, which I felt like was Modern Warfare 2019, and just continue to build off that, kind of like what Fortnite does with their movement. They're adding like wall bouncing now, but the core of the game is basically the same. And I think that's what's frustrating, especially for me, because I'm like, dude, we're getting these new games every year, and obviously there's these bugs that kind of push us back, and we're like one step forward, two steps back, or two steps forward, one step back, and it's constant, like a constant up and down battle. So I don't know.
I wonder if some of that is with Call of Duty is one of the few FPS games, especially that actually does push out a new game every single year. Like even you look at the other popular FPS, Battlefield. I mean, there's been how many Battlefields in the last few years? It's not every single year like Assassin's Creed. They slowed down from their yearly releases probably because they couldn't keep up. So I wonder if that's just like part of the result of Call of Duty being one of the few games that is able to push a game every single year, that they think they can like maybe get away with it in a sense in Warzone. Like, oh, we're also going to push this new Warzone experience as well. And it's just kind of backfired on them.
Well, reality is only the games that do that are Madden, 2K, whatever. Like,
Which is
and
the same thing pretty much.
Yeah,
And
COD
those
has
studios are
significantly more differences too than from year to year.
these you also got to keep in mind like Activision is one of the biggest studios in the world, and not even just the biggest studios. Like Treyarch is one of the biggest studios, and IW and Raven, like these are massive, like hundreds of people in these studios, and whatnot. And so you have different studios. So it's like it's a little bit different than just saying it's like, oh, like Valorant doesn't release a new game every year, but that's like as if if Treyarch was the only studio working on Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I think also like look, back to the subject that we were talking about before. It's like for example, there is the question like, hey, should Warzone keep doing this integration? I think no, right? But there is quote unquote some red flags that could happen here, right? Like I know Tyler had mentioned, well, what happens if let's say Omni comes out and people don't fuck with it, right? Or like people are like, oh, why didn't we get that, right? But even worse, right? And this is me saying this, bro. What happens if Modern Warfare 2, everybody, arguably from what we think is the most hated game ever, and that was Warzone's default movement system? Like,
well,
like.
Yeah, my only like my immediate response to that one is like I don't know that like it was pretty universally like the feedback for that was that we don't like this, right? So it's not like it's like, oh, we would just be stuck with something bad and like that would suck, right? So I mean as much as we get trolled and say that like we don't play the game and like we're never listening and stuff like that, like that's half of our job is like just listening, and there are people who watch every video that that gets put out, and so it's not like the feedback loop would just stop, right? Or that we'd be stuck with something bad. In fact, I think that it would enable even better it would enable them to better act on that feedback, because they're not trying to get ready for next year's game that has all these other things that they got to do as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we kind of talked
But
about it a lot.
I
but
agree
yeah,
with
go
what
ahead.
you were saying though, Hector. That kind of goes back to what I was saying, where like if let's say Warzone 2 did come out and it was just straight fire, then they probably wouldn't have said, you know what, let's try and reinvent the wheel again. Like, let's try and solve this problem. There wouldn't have been a problem they needed to necessarily solve. But so as soon as it didn't come out, then I'm like, let's go ahead and adjust and course correct, because obviously the feedback has been bad. It's not doing particularly well.
Right.
Let's course correct. But if it came out fire, there wouldn't be that course correction, I don't think. And I don't think we would have had 2 integrations. Maybe we still would have had this Omni movement, but I don't think it would have been the same way. If it came out and it was just straight fire, I don't think we would have had these 2 integrations.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Well,
I don't know
it
what's to
still would have
come, right?
integrated weapons, I think, and
Yeah.
kind of what we had in Warzone 1 with the 3 games. But it definitely wouldn't have been like, oh,
Yeah.
let's overhaul the perks, let's overhaul loadouts, let's overhaul created class, let's overhaul like every system in the game. And then like, oops, we need to do it again. I don't think that would have happened if Warzone 2, Vision or whatever, it came out and it was fire. I don't think that would have happened. But I don't know.
Oh man.
You want to talk about hit rag at all too? Like, there's a lot of people ask about that.
Yeah. Again, chat. We will get to the topics. We're on one topic. We'll go right now. So I guess now, right? Let's talk about it, fellas. Right now, there's a lot of shit wrong with the game. What is, in your guys' opinion, is considered the quote unquote biggest one? Like, what is y'all's like? Hey, yo, this needs to be fixed ASAP. What to you guys? I guess if you guys want, I can start. For me, it's the fucking I don't even know if it's netcode. I don't think it's that. I don't know, whatever it's called. But where it feels like you die in 2 bullets, but you kill in 10. And the false hit markers, it just the servers feel like they're ass. And again, something happened over the last 3 weeks that fucked it up, right? Because 3 weeks ago, it wasn't that bad. And it's not tick rate, because people will say, oh, tick rate this, tick rate that. But we've had 20 hertz tick rate 3 weeks ago, and it was always great, right? So like, what's happening now that's causing this to be so bad? That's my biggest complaint.
Just to pause here. Sorry, I actually do have a visual in my presentation. If you go to a minute 44, there is a visual. I win the games for everyone that's gonna be like, damn, he can hit his shots. This is this is my yeah.
No. Okay, I just want to say, I promise you, right now, Hunter, right? Is it Hunter?
Yes, sir.
Dude, you are every dev's favorite person, because having visuals like that is beyond help. Complaining about it on Twitter and being like, Bullet Ridge sucks ass, like this is the worst ever, and be like, oh, that's cool, like great, but like having something to go back and watch, like I feel like it's common sense. But I'll tell you right now, you're every dev's favorite. So
appreciate that. Did we pull the visual up? I need it to be seen. Okay, so
you hear him tweet out your problems. Don't just tweet. You know what I'm saying? Like videos.
All right, so first off, pause it right here. Pause it right here. First off, what the fuck is this? I don't really know what like.
Slide
Again, it's Omni
dog,
movement.
You ain't never seen a slide cancel?
Honestly, looks fine to me.
Like it looked like he was doing the challenge. You walk in the milk cartons and you fall off and break your back. Like, that's what it looks like right now. If you hit play here, you'll see multiple shots, or you can see the blood, but like nothing's hitting. Right there, 2 shots, blood's flying out. Okay, and then you see it again. If you keep playing it, you'll see it again towards the end of the clip. And this is for the win, by the way. I still win, but it's like if I lost and then saw this, I would be literally freaking out over this. So that's like the biggest thing for me is definitely the hit reg. You can pause it now.
Just blood mist overshield, bro. You gotta get used to it.
It's frustrating too, especially when you hit a snipe that's like 200 meters away. You see blood splat, but the guy's not hit. That's one of the most frustrating things for me, for sure.
Yeah, that right there. That's what I'm talking about. How again, I don't know what it is. I don't know. There's people way smarter than me that fucking know these type of things. But that, in my opinion, is the biggest thing wrong with the game. Hit reg, all that shit.
What's weird is how it's switched from year to year, because I don't think the servers have ever been amazing for COD. But like it's always been some kind of issue. Like last year, it was a lot of packet bursting in general, just packet bursting. But when you didn't have packet burst on your screen, the game regged well. The network, like the connection felt fine, but there was packet bursting. often. This year, you don't hardly see any packet bursting for me personally, but you get issues like this all the time. And even in his clip, I'm sure if you watch it back, the ping will be like 17. No pop-ups on screen saying you're having any network issues, and nothing. Like the game isn't telling you anything other than you're not getting registration for what you're doing, right? So I don't know how it could be so drastically different from year to year. And even in the most recent update, when we got Warzone integrated in, prior to that, obviously we were doing our zombies grind. No issues with connectivity and zombies. After the update, all of a sudden I had zombies related connection issues where you'll freeze in place, you'll get downed randomly. You're like, okay, cool. Hopefully I'm still alive when it stops skipping.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how it infected other parts of the games. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But
Yeah, when you play the game a lot too, you can notice when inconsistencies start. So like, I played a lot of Modern Warfare 3 Warzone, and then going to this new game, I can right on the spot, mid gunfight, I can tell, wait, I just hit this guy, I see blood, but nothing's going on. And another bug too, I think is really frustrating is when this has been a bug, I think, since even Modern Warfare 2, when the game shows you have a certain amount of cash, and then you head to a buy station, and then you end up having no cash. So I think that's a huge thing too, is because you're making plays in the final circles based off of, okay, I have 15,000. Let me go buy my teammates back. Let me go get plates, gas masks. And then you're in the gas, you hit the buy station, you're like, oh, I have $270 and the game's done. We're cooked. And I think that's a huge, huge frustration for sure. And another one too with this integration specifically is when you're trying to do simple things as reload, or you're trying to pick something up that's directly in the middle of your screen, and then you accidentally drop your gun. And then you're like running around mid gunfight trying to pick up your gun again. I think that's really frustrating as well, for sure. With the integration is everything not being lined up when you're trying to pick things up, for sure. That's been a huge one for me.
This might be complete like wrong and just me guessing. When I'm on slightly higher ping servers, like if I play with people on the West Coast and I'm East, so I'm on 70 ping or something like that, I just feel like the game feels smoother to me and my hit rate feels more consistent. So my theory there is that, is it possible that they've actually increased like lag compensation to try to provide a more fair fight for people on various pings? I know they say ping is king, but, and then another, this is completely theory. I have no idea if this is even how this works, but is it the fact that we are still making this game to allow for old gen consoles, PS4 or Xbox One, to compete online with new gen plus, high-end PCs that have dramatically less latency? That might be completely wrong, but just it seems like trying to balance everything out, server-sided versus client-sided, is like things just aren't equaling out.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I have been holding back so hard because I want to make a joke about like skill-based damage. I think that probably would get taken out of context, and I would get in trouble.
Yeah, be careful.
No, but I will just say like just so you guys can keep talking on this one. This is so far like, I honestly, like, this is not anything that I would have any clue or insight on in terms of like the technical side and like why this. Clearly it's happening right now. I know J-God says this all the time as well. Like kill cams aren't, you can't rely on kill cams exactly, because like it's just trying to recreate the the moment, right? And so it's not, again, that's a technical thing as well. Like you can't rely on kill cams to show exactly, but there's obviously still there's a level of accuracy there as well. So yeah, this is just me saying I don't fucking know, dude. This is I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Someone was gonna say.
Oh, Cap, you want to go first?
No, you go. I've cut you off. Go ahead.
Okay. Another thing too, I think we kind of rotated back all the way back to even Warzone 1 is getting rid of ammo caches around the map on Rebirth.
Oh, yeah.
It's
If that's just a
super
bug, though.
frustrating. Is that a bug?
I don't know if that was intended or not. I can't imagine. I don't
like,
see the
that's the bad thing
reasoning
is
for
we
them
don't
to
know.
take it out. And then on top of
and the
that,
thing-
the munitions thing where it only gives you one ammo instead of full.
Well,
Yeah,
you know what's
munitions give you
weird?
60 bullets. It's like, what?
Why?
What?
That Area 99 has some of the weirdest place ammunition spots.
Yeah.
I don't have-
Okay. Does ammo boxes, like the regular ammo, do they still give you just 60?
All right,
Like,
so
not the
before my
munitions.
presentation here. Wait, sorry, not talking about munitions. Sorry. Well, I think so. I think it gives you 60 at the big one. Yeah, it gives you 60 at the big ones too around the map.
So wait, no matter what, it's just one mag.
Yes, and the thing is too is I'm using an XM4 with 100 rounds. I can't even fill up the magazine if I'm out. I'm at
Yeah.
60 out of 100 in my mag.
And I think that was a weird thing because they, I believe when you do hit it, it gives you ammo for all ammo types.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It's
But
one
it's not
clip of
giving
each.
you max ammo. Yeah, so it's like an intentional change, but almost like compounded by an oversight, like to not realize. I don't know.
And that
It
was in
feels
patch notes. Like that was intended. They
Yes.
said they wanted it that way, which I don't understand.
Because the
That is
part that does
insane.
make sense that it fills up one mag of every ammo type, so that if you randomly pick up a shotgun or you randomly pick up a sniper or you decide to get a lot, you'll have sniper ammo because you hit the box or whatever. It'll reserve it, but then it creates the problem with like the guns you're actually using. You don't get any ammo. It's kind of
Right.
wild.
Plus the fact
Yeah,
you
it's like-
can't stow extra ammo unless you have the munitions vest. It's even more compounding.
Yeah, it's frustrating because you're just like sitting in final circle with 0 bullets because if like you're actually shooting people and engaging in things, you got to sit there and throw 5 munition boxes, like get everything loaded up. You could get caught off guard out of nowhere just because you have no ammo. I think that should be changed.
Well-
I don't even know what the thought
Well,
was.
even the
with
point
that.
you just mentioned, it's like one of those things that has like domino effects. Like if there's a lot of money on the floor, then people could buy back, whatever. But the example you gave, it's like it's going to cause people to not like engage in end zones because they know that like they need enough ammo for the last engagement.
Yep,
And-
exactly.
And the streams I have watched when people are going for the kills, it ends up being like they're fighting people, and then it's like the last team completely silent. You don't see them at all, and then all
Yep.
of a sudden they pop out. And it's like, oh, okay, let's fight now. Now that we know it's a one-on-one in terms of the team, so I think that also contributes to some of that. And when I've been playing, I do run into those issues where it's like, okay, I don't have any ammo because I engaged all these people. Now I have to take a bad gunfight with the wrong weapon, like close range for long range or vice versa, because I utilized the ammo and they couldn't loot or whatever. And you end up with a lot more issues where it's kind of that domino where it's unintended. But
Yeah, another thing that's frustrating is the pickup perks. You pick them up, but you can't see in your inventory like what you picked up. So if I haven't died in 10, 15 minutes, I'm
can.
not gonna remember a single perk that I picked
you
up.
can.
Yeah.
How do you check
Where?
it?
How?
So when you open up your former backpack, below the ammo, there's the
It tells
icons
you.
for the perks. Icons for them.
Oh, okay.
All
Mm.
the
And that-
icons,
okay.
and they won't double up. So for example, let's say you had a perk that is lootable and you have it, and then you grab your loadout, it'll actually drop the lootable perk.
I have noticed
Okay,
that.
that makes a lot more sense. And
Wait,
the other
where
thing
did you
too
say
is-
it's at?
Yeah,
It's in the
where is
bottom.
it?
Back.
Hit your inventory.
So you
Hit
have
the
to open your
inventory.
backpack and you check it at the
Okay.
bottom.
Yeah, they're
okay.
little squares.
Is
little
it where your perks
squares.
normally are? Or like when you open the inventory?
It's almost like where your perks would be in zombies by default.
Okay.
Oh.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
so
another
there's
thing-
like a gap. Like
Weird.
if you're on the monitor, it's probably like 1.5 to 2 inches below your bar.
But to be fair,
small
if
is
J
it?
God knows that, you already know the casual player does not know that.
Yeah.
I personally
And
didn't know
bro,
that. I'm
we
always
played
looking for
the
it too.
Like
the
we don't know that.
munitions one and the plate one, it does have icons too when you open that inventory as well.
Okay, I personally don't ever see it. I look,
I'll
I'm
get
like,
a
where is
screenshot
this?
for ya.
Okay, that'd be perfect. And the thing is too is what does specialist bonus give you? Because I don't know if specialist bonus is inconsistent or if it doesn't give you lootable perks. Like what is specialist bonus? I'm just curious
Gives you
about
all.
that.
I'm pretty sure it gives you
all perks.
lootable as
Okay,
well.
so that brings the question to why do some of them not work then? Because
That's
I'll
just
go
perks in
down-
general.
I'll go down with specialist bonus, no shrouded, no smoke, no high alert. I'll die to somebody with ground loot guns, no perks. I don't even get a high alert. Shrouded doesn't work. Sometimes when Shrouded does work, the smoke grenade falls under the map, so it's like I have a little like fog effect below me. It's just I don't know what specialist does. I feel like there should be a little bit more clear with the specialist bonus because when I pick it up, I don't even feel like I have specialist bonus. I'm really confused whenever.
Yeah, quick
I've
fix is
got it.
not working. I think
Yeah.
Survivor and like quick fix are basically the same thing. I don't really know.
No,
Like,
quick
Survivor
fix.
is different. Yeah. for
Yeah,
sure.
Survivor just is every 3 seconds you automatically heal, like no matter what.
okay. So
And
it's not
then-
if you get a knocker plate.
Right, quick fix
No.
is bugged. Like the only time I think quick fix works is when you're getting a down, but it's like if you're in the gas, it doesn't trigger it because I've
It's
had
just all
multiple
bugged.
Yeah.
multiple gas plays where I'm like, if I get this finish, I'm good. I'll stay alive, and then nothing happens and I die.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go ahead, Bobby.
I was just gonna say I'm glad we're talking about perks because I actually think that I hate perks in Warzone. I think that this is and not that I hate that they exist at all, but I think that this is one of those examples of like the games are the same, right? Like Call of Duty, like Warzone was made as the Call of Duty BR, so it's like how can we turn all of these Call of Duty you know, this Call of Duty gameplay into Warzone. And I think that in MP, like you pick your perks at the start of a match or you know, during a match when you pick your class, right? And like you just have them all the time, right?
Right.
Okay.
It feels terrible to drop into, and in fact, we kind of know this because last year, like you just started with, there were certain default perks,
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
right? And so I think that that's part of like what feels so inconsistent, like during a match of Warzone, and like why it kind of feels crappy at the start. And now for really, really good players, right, it's not that big of a deal because you're probably going to get your loadout in like the first 30, 60 seconds, right? You're going to get right away. That's not the case for a huge majority of Warzone players, right? Like most of, like half the time, they don't even get their loadout until like a loadout drop happens, like you know,
Yeah.
halfway through the map or 5 minutes into the match or whatever. So I don't like perks in Warzone, and like all these things. It was like, oh, you can't tell when you pick them up, and it's like it just feels like an issue. That's like, why do we even have this? Like
100%.
it just.
That's kind of what we were talking about last podcast. It's like, I don't like, I get it. Like, I understand the whole like multiplayer Warzone thing, but like they're two different games. And like you said, you start off multiplayer,
Yeah.
you always have your perks. You don't have to like loot. You don't have to like, there's not this downtime. But for Warzone, if you don't have your perks, sometimes it feels like shit. So it's like, now we don't have default perks. So I think that's like, again, another huge frustration that I run into them too. I'm like, bro, I don't want to have to play the game only if I have my perks. I think that's the frustrating thing. So no perks at all. I mean, that's definitely an answer. And then you can just make your base character speeds quicker or whatever, or I don't know.
Or at least simplified, like you only get one or two perks per loadout, and they're very unique where it's not like making the game feel slower if you don't have them.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is if there's balance, right? Like like then everything's okay. Like think about it right now. Like everybody's talking about how the hell why would they take off default perks? Like even now, like it's because there's a drastic difference between when you have them and when you don't right now. Like it should just feel pretty good by default. And right now it just feels like shit. Like default. It doesn't feel good. Right? Like then once you get perks, okay, it gets better. Then bro, I'm telling you right now, if I have gung ho and quick fix, bro, I feel insane on the map. Like insane. The movement feels so buttery.
Sprinter.
But, yeah, and sprinter as well. But like that's only if you have specialists. Like it literally feels so good. But there's just I don't know. I think default perks need to come back. Sorry, Tyler, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just to say, I also think that like I understand like why they started off the year with no default perks. First of all, like a lot of the perks are different. We obviously have this brand new Omni movement, and so like there almost needed to be that feedback where you don't have them, right? Because what I can tell you is if you had them, they looked at data or they got feedback or you know whatever happened, and then they decided to take them away later. Like that's obviously that would be a worst case scenario, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like it is a little bit of a better decision to be able to add them. You know, once they were able to kind of get the game into millions of players' hands and see how it felt and make those decisions a little bit down the line. I just hope that that's something that they're actually thinking about. Like I honestly have no idea, right? At this point. You know, I trust all the folks over there at Raven and whatnot. And so I think that they'll cook for sure. Hopefully this is one of those areas that they will.
Yeah. I guess like that's a question for me, right? Like I guess Tyler, I think you will know a little bit about this. It's like how does Black Ops 6 and Warzone affect each other? Like in the sense of like if let's say if if Raven said, hey yo, I want default perks or I want like to change this for movement, this, that. Is that Treyarch's decision or is that Raven's decision? Like is multiplayer, pretty much what I'm asking is multiplayer and Warzone like the same thing?
Like
or,
who makes the final decision basically?
Yeah. Like
if,
how does
if
that work?
Warzone wants to do something, who makes the final decision?
Yeah, I just evolved. Just try to note that if you can.
How I want to answer this. I think
Flash, thank you. If I get a chance, I'll bring it up, but I have to stay on what topics they're on.
It's a huge collaboration.
And Omer, I appreciate your dono as well earlier, man.
There's obviously an understanding that Warzone is a different game than MP. While at the same time, obviously being under the same Call of Duty umbrella. And so Raven obviously has the freedom to you know, try to do what they want to do. I think at the end of the day, like Activision is one company. And so like there's a lot of collaboration between studios and all of that. So in terms of who has the final decision, I don't. It's not like there's a one solid answer to
okay.
that, right? Like there's kind of a collaboration. It might vary from you know case to case, right? So
I guess this is like this is over anyone's question. Like, do you not think that's a problem? Like, do you not think it's a problem that we have multiple people making decisions on like a game that like might not even be theirs, or like
This is where I think lies the problem, in my opinion, is that, okay, let's say it is a collaborative event and there's not like, it's not like Raven has the say in everything, right? Every year, somebody else, there's different opinions every year that they have to go through. So Modern Warfare 2, Raven has to collab with Infinity Ward. Then the next year, Raven has to collab with Sledgehammer. Then the next year, Raven has to collab with Treyarch. And these 3 different dev studios probably have 3 different ideas of what they want the game to actually feel like and what they want it to be. My question is like, do these multiplayer devs, right, multiplayer studios, do they have a say in how Warzone feels? I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know. For me, I agree with you. I don't think that's the way it should be. I feel like, again, we're kind of going back to the same topic, because I think that it should be, Warzone should be its own separate thing. And
yeah, that's the answer, bro.
That's what
I mean,
think.
I agree. I agree as well. Like if it were up to me, like I think that the 2 games they're different enough games that they warrant. Like we just got to stop trying to match them up so much, right? I think that both games would get better.
I don't know how like the consensus was, or like what the people's opinions were like on Modern Warfare 2019 whenever we had Warzone, but like I didn't hear a single person complain about the movement, the gunplay, like just the core of the game, like anything that's just decent, like the parachute, the helicopters, the vehicles. Nobody complained about this stuff. And then again, we got Warzone 2 with these horrible vehicles, horrible movement, horrible everything. I mean, the gunplay was decent, but it was so different. And it's like, I think that's what's frustrating, is that we got this whole new game for a game that already worked, and we didn't improve on like the little things. Like we could have added a rank to the Modern Warfare 2019 Warzone and got a new map, and it would have been fine. Or, you know, Caldera was like kind of ass, but like they just could have done little improvements. Okay, Caldera sucked. Let's give him a new big map. Let's give him Almanzar with the Modern Warfare 2019 movement. And I'm sure everyone would have been like, damn, this shit is fire. And now we got ranked and on the old movement and everything, and they could have improved. They could have added Omni movement, maybe to the Modern Warfare 2019 movement type of vibe. I don't know. I think that's where I'm like, if they keep adding new integrations every year for Warzone, it's gonna be you're gonna get the same people bitching every single year about the game, how it's ass. Every single drop, we're gonna get a new game. It's gonna be like, oh, there's these issues, it's ass. I like this. I used to like this. Now I like this. It's just like, I don't know. It's just a constant game of tug of war, and it just sucks.
I mean, I guess question real quick, fellas, is when Warzone was when Caldera or Cold War was integrated into Warzone Modern Warfare 2019, was there an uproar of people complaining about it, or was it pretty seamless?
No, a lot of people complained about it.
Really?
People didn't want Cold War guns overpowering Modern Warfare 2019, because Modern Warfare 2019 had a generative loop where you could keep using the same guns and it still felt incredible over and over again. And then when they depowered the Modern Warfare 2019 guns for Cold War, people were like, dude, please, like, you can't just shelve this amazing game like this for the guns and everything. People were pissed about it, absolutely.
And we had the DMR too.
Yeah, a lot of bugs that were even, you know, you talk about we could have just stayed on 2019. We could not have stayed on that game for Warzone. That was literally destroying. It was almost like creating a black hole for itself, where it was gonna just be cut. Because if you look at Modern Warfare 2019's multiplayer throughout Cold War and Vanguard, dude, it got like absolutely destroyed. Because correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they intended Warzone to keep going like how it did. Correct?
Yeah, that's your question,
no,
right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because if you look at the Cold War integration, it busted multiplayer. Like
I don't know
Xbox,
for sure, because obviously it's like one of those things that it would just be an assumption.
Well, Xbox couldn't load into a lot of the multiplayer maps. They had to shelve a bunch of the ground war maps in 2019. Executions didn't work. There was so much like wrong with it. So I see the vision with building Warzone 2, but obviously the goal hasn't been fulfilled. But I understand why they moved off of it, because dude, like the integrations were just busting the game up bad.
What's interesting though is with how many bugs we look back at, like the Cold War integration and even the Vanguard integration, there might have been just as many bugs back then, if not more than now, but it seems like that was still so much better received. Like it seemed like the overall interest was so much higher back then.
Right? If this is year 5 of integration, it's like, bro, what the fuck are we doing? We have the
That's
same
fair.
bug that I've had for 3 years or whatever, but it disappears, then it comes back. Like the
Like the
gas mask
shotgun
animation. Like they were able to patch it quickly, nicely, which is good, W. But it was like, how the hell did that come back, bro?
The
Like,
Lockwood shotgun, fellas. Let's not forget about that.
That's
one.
came
That
back like
always
5
comes
It's
back.
times.
still around, isn't it? It's still around right now.
Yeah, that shit fucking broken right now.
What's interesting is the what is the X12? Is that the Model for 3 one? Is that the Model for 3 pistol? X12? They
Core
shelved it.
45?
The Core
Yeah,
45.
that they made it was bugged like 2 weeks ago where it was like full auto with the where you could plug the blueprint on it.
I might have been
yeah.
responsible for that.
Dude, they
getting-
literally removed it the same day. The gun's not even in Warzone. I mean, it might be back now, but if you go in the Warzone menu, I'll go right now. The gun
the riot
literally
shield.
just.
He said,
Hold on, let me go in the Warzone menu. Okay, so. Okay, yeah. So if you go to the Modern Warfare 3 tab, they completely removed the X12. Like it doesn't even exist.
I know,
in the
Harry.
tab. And is this the first time they've done that? Where they've just completely like, all right, let's just remove this from the game until we
I think-
fix it.
They've done that a lot. They do that all the time.
They've done that
Like
before.
they remove the entire gun from the menu.
Yeah, I know
Who
they've
else
done
have they done
that
that
before
with?
because I've helped them do that before.
Oh, well,
so
I like that. I think
know-
that's a
know
great
that has happened,
change.
yeah.
I think that's a great change. But how come that was never about with the Doom shotgun when that was like
Lockwood.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the one
the
that's
Lockwood.
even right now. It's still pretty broken right now, unless they fix it. That I don't know about, but like that's what I'm saying. Like something is wrong when the way that when they do updates, it seems like. Okay, again, Ty, this is probably not the way it works, right? But you're probably like, bro, Hector, you sound stupid. Like, but this is the way it seems like. It's like they have a saved
Alvin, I'm
file
sorry.
of like an update, and they grab that saved file, change whatever they want to change, put it back in, and then every new update, they don't go back to this file. They go back to the OG file and then change it again because for whatever reason, the Lockwood just is always meta. It just always fucking like it somehow always creeps back. Like it's like, oh, sorry, we didn't intentionally mean to make it one shot again. Let me fix it. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like shouldn't it save? Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't really work like that. But
yeah, don't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble.
yeah, no. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, this is no different than like if there's like a software developer in the chat somewhere, they're probably laughing too because like there are thousands upon thousands of things being changed and every week and every month and stuff like that. So I mean I'm not really going to pretend to have like a perfect answer. I'm not saying that it should happen, but stuff just happens. Like it just happens. I'm not saying it should, right? But
well, it's confusing because they removed the X12, which was really broken. It's awesome. They took that out same day, but then right now we have the RAL LMG still in the game with the broke conversion kit. Dude, like if you play in any like lobby where people are competent, dude, you're just getting drilled by that thing over and over again. So it's like, how come one thing is taken out, but then the other thing that's also insanely broken that was previously taken out isn't taken out again? I just don't understand where the miscommunication is, where one thing can go, but the other can't.
I mean, there's levels of broken too. Like,
yeah,
like there's when something is like legitimately actually broken and it's like ruining the game. There's broken when something is like overpowered and it's everyone's using it and it's not necessarily the most fun. So it's like that's obviously a tricky.
Okay.
Those are tricky decisions to make. Like when is something broken enough to like make a drastic enough change to say, hey, like this has got to be completely deleted until we can get a proper fix in for it, right?
Well, it's interesting because it happened and then they patched the gun where it wasn't, the way it is now, and then they unpatched it and then they just kept it in. So that's what I was curious about. I was like, what's going on with the constant bipolar of certain weapons having the repeated issues and some get removed, some don't? I was just curious about that.
Yeah.
So look, sorry, go ahead, TTD.
No, I was going to just say, it seems like also them adding gunfighter and the 8 attachments, I think is one of the root causes of so many of the issues. Like you could, bug it to get 8 attachments on MW2, MW3, the whole blueprint thing where like the attachments save and then you can add on top of them and have multiple more attachments. I think that's just like the gunfighter itself, I think was a root cause of it's just maybe a hard thing to code and get right.
I think like on top of that, that really just reiterates like the same point. Like when we're trying to, especially when we're like MP is not that big of a deal because it changed. Like it's a wholesale like MW3 is gone, Black Ops 6 is here. Whereas Warzone, it's like, no, you still have all these things from MW3 in the past. And like, we're trying to add all these new things on top of it. Like that's just, you can't expect anyone, like that's just such a difficult path to take, right? Like there's just I mean, you could be superhuman, and like that's just technically that. I feel like that's just opening the door for bugs and stuff like this, like for things to interact incorrectly. Especially like there's hundreds of guns, like and hundreds of attachments and thousands, if not millions, of combinations of things. Like
There's like 25,000 different attachments, if
come
I'm not
on, like
mistaken.
that's just rough, man.
Like combos,
that's
right?
just,
25,000
that's just
combos.
asking. That's just asking
unique.
for impossible.
No. There's 25,000 unique attachments because of MW2, MW3. Because like every MW2 gun has like 100 underbarrels. So there's like the
You count the same
MW2.
one twice.
Right, correct. So
Yeah,
but
but
attachments, it's in the
77
millions,
optics,
billions.
It's
I don't know
77 times
how many guns.
however many weapons
yeah.
they have. Yeah, it's 100
And then
plus weapons.
to add to that, though, what's frustrating is, and I don't know if this is just because it was too complicated or maybe because of past blueprints. If you look at like all of the MW2 guns or something, or MW3 as well, anything that's a foregrip does the exact same stats. There's like 15 different foregrips. There's 15 different hand stops.
Yeah.
They all
Now,
do
I
the
think that's
exact
good
same
that They
thing.
simplified it, and it also kind of like makes them essentially cosmetic.
Right, exactly.
But the filtering and sorting is
Yeah,
terrible.
finding your attachment, like
I'm like, cool. Where's the Choreo Eagle Eye?
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
like
it's
there's
on
no
the
search
bottom.
bar. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look. So I kind of want to, because I do want to talk about ranked a little bit, which is Tyler's expertise, right? Because we know that ranked is coming this week. But before we do, I want to talk about a couple different things. Like, I have a couple list of things big things that I think are really fucked. And more importantly, JD, if you want to bring up the tweet, Tyler, feel free to not get into this convo if you don't want to get into it, because we're gonna be reading a tweet for a Treyarch Devin. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're gonna talk about Matt. You're gonna talk about Matt.
Yeah. So
okay, cool.
we want to talk about just the whole subject of it all, right? Obviously, I don't.
Matt's the GOAT, by the way. I don't want to hear any. I don't want to hear any slander on Matt, because he's the fucking GOAT.
Over the tweet, but I think people are taking the tweet like wrong, because
Yes.
like he
100%.
just typed it. He just
100%.
typed it, which is fair if you understand kind of like his probably perspective. But it's not like he has unilateral control to just say, you know what? Fuck this movement. Yeah, I'm doing it my way. That doesn't exist.
I'm
I was
so
gonna
glad
say
that
that.
I wasn't the one that had to come on here and say that, and that you guys are smart enough to know that is not how it works, right? Like Matt didn't just make a
He got
overarching
jumped on too many
decision.
times, man, and he just nerfed us into the ground. No,
Yeah, like
how they're
see,
acting.
that is where people need to take, like, I'm be quite frank here, is use their fucking brain. It's like, yo, okay, do I agree with Matt's opinion on this specific subject? Not at all. I don't agree with this at all, right? But I'm not ignorant to think like, oh, because he doesn't like it, he changed the whole game, like, because of his own decisions. I don't think that's the way it goes, right? That's not even the whole point of this. Is let's have the discussion, right, of just in general movement, snaking, and like the animations and shit like that, right? JD, do you have the clip that he's responding to here?
And listen, I will say, Matt will probably hate me saying this, so I'm sorry, but because I know chat's gonna care about this, right?
Yeah.
Like Matt is legitimately a good player, not like from a dev perspective, good. Like I'm not a good player, right? Like anyone that has seen me play the game knows that like I am not anywhere near the level that you guys. In fact, I know actually where I am, because I can see, you know, where I rank in all that stuff, or at least I could, right? Matt is actually good. Like he I'm not even kidding, like probably top 10% like in terms of skill, right?
Okay.
And that's like objectively. I'm not saying like my subjective opinion. Matt is actually a good player, right? So it's like, get out of here with those like, oh, he just freaking got turned on too many times and he just sucks and wants to make the game, you know, casual. Nah, dude, get out of here with that.
Okay. All right. Look, so let's go over the tweet real quick, or I guess, is this the video? Yeah. So this is T, the one that had tweeted this out, and it pretty much, T, do you want to kind of give us a little synopsis of what you put?
So one thing I wanted to say is this video actually is not from this guy. The original video is Exo Ghost. So I just wanted to like give him credit where credit's due.
Okay.
This guy kind of just, I think, reposted his video on Twitter. So just as an FYI, but it's basically just a comparison of some very like simple movements, like not even omni movement stuff of MW19 versus Black Ops 6. And the big things you'll see is outside of like how slow the jumping is compared and the lack of momentum, the lack of bunny hopping is the aim, sway, and bob, where that rear iron sight moves and literally blocks what you're seeing. Whereas in MW19, every movement, it is extremely like stationary and it's very easy to see through the iron sight. And this affects everyone. But one thing I will say that adds to this is as someone who's played both inputs, this sucks for mouse and key players because with aim assist, like it helps you a little bit, helps you stay in the area. Like, like you're aiming in this general area and aim assist kind of keeps you there. Mouse and key, like it's on you. You got to see what you can shoot at. And I think people are just frustrated with that because yes, movement is faster and you can do different things, but it's also clunky and we can't see what we're shooting at.
Yeah. So look, this is what the whole conversation arose from this, right? And obviously, this sway and bob is a design choice, right? Like pretty much what Matt was saying was that like I mean, we could read it if you want, but to paraphrase, he didn't like that a lot of the gunfights were jumping, right? We're bunny hopping. And so he wanted to add okay, I'll just read it. He said, once prone and crouch speeds become too fast, you end up with a mismatch between first and third person POV, leading to snaking, which has been a massive problem in the past. Faster is not always healthier for the overall gaming experience. I've never personally been a fan of spam jumping during combat. So when we intentionally designed omni-movement mechanics, we just did sway bob when jumping by default to ensure that wasn't the most effective tactic during engagements. If you want spam jump while shooting, we have perks and attachments to increase effectiveness, just like we do for slide and dive. All that said, we're always looking at feedback data and discussing our internal opinions across partner studios on how the game is playing in order to continue making improvements. Okay, so there's a lot of I know a lot of people think that he made the decisions, right? Guys, that's not the case. I'm sure just because one dev doesn't like something doesn't mean they're just going to change it. Go ahead, Jigad.
One thing because I ended up looking back and wanted to see kind of how the snaking looked in MW 2019, and it's actually crazy how glitchy it looks compared to how smooth it looks in Black Ops 6. Regardless if you like the animation or you feel like it's cheesy or exploitable, the actual animation is way smoother in Black Ops 6 than it is in 2019. The actual frames skip when you do it in 2019, where it's actually like glitching the screen, which obviously from a competitive aspect, the pros were able to abuse that to a different level. I think in MW 2 and 3, they kind of implemented like fatigue mechanics. So you can only spam for a short duration, and then obviously it'll be like, sorry, you can't do that anymore. And then now, obviously it is what it is. But I think that's a different topic than the jumping mechanic.
Yeah, so like, look, let's talk about the snaking thing first, right? Like that, we'll break this down into sections. The snaking part of this, I feel like, to me, okay, and I tweeted this out, and you guys let me know, I personally did not think that snaking was that big of an issue on Warzone in particular. In multiplayer, I understand why they have these implications, right? Why they do these different things, because you die in a bullet, right? You snake once, you're dead, right? When it comes to Warzone, you see somebody snaking, you have 3 plates. You can disengage, you can figure it out. Like, it wasn't that big of an issue. I think this is one of those times where, in my opinion, you take the lesser of 2 evils and you make these animations faster. I get what you got saying, like it's not as fluid, right? It's like skipping frames, but it is quicker, right? Which I understand what Matt is saying, that it's not like faster is not always healthier for the overall gaming experience. But when it leads to, for example, for me, feeling like Black Ops 6 still feels a little bit clunky, I think it's because a lot of these stuff, because of the slowness to prone, because of the weapon bobbing, because of, like, you know, those things. So now, I mean, I'm curious to hear y'all's opinion. For again, my biggest thing I'm preaching this podcast is I would hope that they one day separate the two, but I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, what's y'all's opinion on snaking?
First, just the one thing that I'll say is even separating the two, like I don't think the opinions or conversation really changes that much, because it's like it's the same problem. It doesn't really matter what game. Now, yeah, like is snaking worse because it's harder to deal with and easier to abuse in MP versus Warzone? Like, yeah, obviously, right? But is it still an issue because of glitchy animations and like it's still there's still a desync that is like clearly if one player can see another player and the other player can't see that player at all, but they're getting shot at, like that's not an intended way to play the game, right? And so like while the games, even if the games were different, the conversation is still the same. Like you still have to decide how big of an issue these things are and how you want to deal with them and whatnot. So
yeah. I mean, fellas, what's y'all's opinion on the snaking aspect of this?
So I was going to add that I wish I knew like a percentage of this, but just guessing, I think less than 5% of players can actually snake well and effectively. So it's probably, you think it's
probably
less?
less than that.
Yeah, 2% maybe, 1%. I don't know.
Yeah.
So the amount of players that are actually going to be able to snake and abuse this is such a small amount. And again, to your point as well, Hector, it's probably way more of an issue in multiplayer ranked, which obviously I don't think you can do this in ranked, but in CDL, I know they like GA snaking. So that's one issue to combat it, at least at the highest level. But this issue that by them nerfing crouch and prone speeds, it makes the game feel clunky for 100% of people, and it fixes a problem for 1% of the people. Like only the people like us are going to be coming across this in the highest SPM lobbies. Other casual people, no one's going to see anyone snake ever.
What, Tyler?
Well, I was gonna say the reason that I disagree with you saying that it's like this fixes a problem for 1%, but makes the game feel clunkier for 99%, or 100% rather. To that same argument where it's like, oh, only 2% of people can snake, right? Well, probably that same 2% of people notices what we're calling clunky difference between how you could, the speed at which you could prone and stand up and whatnot in MW19 versus the speed at which you can do it in Black Ops 6.
Do you think that there's not a lot of people?
No, I really don't. And then no, I'm not saying that to like lessen the impact of the change or make it not matter as much, right? I'm just saying that it's like to say that 100% of the people the game feels clunkier to because of this. I don't think that that's accurate.
Yeah, 100% is definitely an overestimate. But I think just to rebuttal that slightly is the amount of more casual level players that say that feel that they state the game being clunky. That percentage is a very large amount of people. Like it's at least 50%, I would argue, versus the snaking problem. I mean, that's like the common thing that I hear in all of from my community. I think a lot of these guys would vouch is the common description is the game is clunky. It's not smooth.
Well, one thing that I noticed that I ended up downloading 2019 just so I could feel the comparison back to back. And a lot of the animations in 2019 are slow. They are slow, but they're snappy. So they feel like more responsive to a certain extent because you're getting that immediate input feel versus like the gun bobbing, even though it's doing the thing, it ends up being kind of a weird like comparison because I feel like MW or BO6 feels smoother in a lot of ways, particularly in this snaking one. If you do the side to side comparison, I think the jump shotting definitely needs way more work. To get closer to where 2019 is, because I think that one, it just feels bad. But I think the snaking, the crouching, all that, I think it's just that gun moving more. Like the actual gun game feels slower in 2019.
Here's kind of my take on that. So I feel like, why not give everybody the tools to do like whatever and move however? Because if you're saying the players that don't realize the game is slow and clunky, whatever, they don't realize regardless, why not just make the game faster and they're probably not going to realize anyways, but the better, more skilled players are going to realize that the game's faster. I feel like it would just benefit both sides. Like if they don't realize the game's already slow and they speed things up, they're going to be like, oh, everything feels the same. But I feel like the players on the other side, if they speed up the game and it feels slow to them and they speed it up, now they're going to be like, oh, it feels great.
I agree.
Yeah, okay. I mean, look, there's like here's the thing with Treyarch, right? Like if you look at Treyarch Cold War movement and IW Modern Warfare 2019 movement, they are different, but Cold War it felt a little bit clunkier or slower, right? But they're like Treyarch intentionally, I don't want to say clunkier, what's the word? Like
it's less snappy. I think that's the right word, because like I said, when I went back and forth, one felt snappy, but then the other one feels like smoother because it's like, but it's faster. Right. It's kind of a weird. That's why I said it's kind of weird. Like you got to do both back to back.
Fluidity versus snappiness. I think that's the way to describe it. Like it doesn't feel as snappy, which I agree with you, Jay. So like moving then to right now, Black Ops 6, it's like there are all these things. Let's go, JD, if you want to bring up the tweet. Let's move on to the next thing, right? Like again, I think crouch speeds, prone speeds, all that should be fast. Like it should feel snappy. It can be fluid and snappy at the same time, right? I'm not saying that one is right or wrong. I'm just saying that like, bro, you can have both, right? We can have both. Now, again, I don't know how that negatively affects multiplayer. I don't know what affects multiplayer and what affects Warzone. And if you change one, does it affect the other? I don't know. But for Warzone specifically is what I'm talking about. Now, moving on to the spam jumping during combat. Here is where, again, lesser of two evils, right? This introduction of sway and weapon bobbing, right, has affected not only everybody that's like, bro, why is that a thing, right? There was no visual recoil, there's no weapon sway with Modern Warfare 2019, but Black Ops 6, and I feel like ever since Modern Warfare 2, we've had this weapon sway, weapon bob, where you move. I would say OTS did have this a little bit, but it was only
have this.
Yeah.
It was an outlier.
Yeah, but it was an outlier. So, like, what I'm trying to say here is like, bro, look at keyboard and mouse players. The game, for a lot of them, feels like it's incredibly unplayable because of this change right here. But like, I get it. In my opinion, it's like the reason why Modern Warfare 2019, like let's just say bunny hopping or jumping in the middle of gameplay was so overpowered was because if you think about it, there was only two tools that you could use back in Modern Warfare 2019. There was only slide canceling and bunny hopping around corners. That was literally your two offensive movements, right? Apart from just hitting your fucking shots, right? But like now there's so many different ways to utilize your movement with omni movement, sliding in every direction, diving in every direction. Why not add bunny hopping back? Why not reduce these visual movements? Because it's not only affecting quote unquote the best players, but it's also affecting every single keyboard and mouse player because they can't even see what they're aiming at. I mean, T, you can kind of add to this, right? Because you said you play both.
Yeah, I play both inputs. I mean, I made the permanent switch at the very end of Warzone 1/Warzone 2. Like when Warzone 2 hit, I was like, I'm done, MK. I can't do it anymore. And since then, the visual recoil has just never been anywhere near on par to what MW19 Warzone was. And then as well with like, as people are always asking me, they're like, how do I build this loadout for a mouse and keyboard player? And I think we shouldn't have to build loadouts differently for one input to the other, because you have to prioritize things like you have to have an optic. You have to prioritize aiming idle sway, a lot of the recoil, horizontal stabilization type stuff. Whereas good controller players can get away with not needing those attachments. They can prioritize other things like movement, handling, etc.
They could just put a post-it on the screen and play blind. You guys seen that? You guys seen that gameplay, right?
No.
The guy played a full matches with a post-it in the center of his screen.
What?
On controller?
On controller.
Yeah.
Because you don't even need to see the target. He was getting.
Because the aim assist.
Yeah, bro.
Oh my god.
Just get you close.
That's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to aim assist, like controller players, it's not as like, yeah, it sucks. We hate it. I loved like Warzone 2019, right? The way the guns felt. But now, like, you do notice it, but it's like it doesn't affect us as bad because we got aim assist. I'm gonna be blunt. For all the keyboard and mouse players there, you notice it bad when you don't even know what you're looking at. You see, your crosshairs not aligning with your gun, and so I don't know.
I'll hop in here too. It also doesn't help keyboard and mouse when they're in certain areas of the map where it's very dark, and you're not getting that aim assist on controller as you would on mouse and keyboard. So like if you use a mouse keyboard, you shoot someone in a dark area, you have an iron sight gun, it can be like so difficult to know what you're hitting versus you have aim assist. Aim assist is guiding you in those dark areas. I personally experienced on Urzikstan. Sorry, Jake, I'll hop in.
Yeah, go ahead. I think this gets even more compounded because people have learned where some of these spots are, and they do like the supine prone, where they're actually in a position where you cannot see the body outline properly.
Hold on.
Like,
He's got a clip.
I posted one the other day.
Pull up the footage.
I was like, what
Exhibit
a fucking
B.
rat, bro.
Hold on, we're looking through the presentation.
Can't see him.
Check it out. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm trying to find in the presentation where that's a perfect example of the omni movement. I gotta find it.
If you
We
just
can
scroll down
continue.
to section 6, subsection A.
Sorry. I wanted to bring back the time about laying down thing. I personally have been dealing with the slow proning issue a lot. If I'm getting shot at by someone that's on a second story and there's like a little I don't know what you call it, like just something to get behind, it feels really slow to like lay down and get to cover while someone's shooting me from above angle. It feels almost like I have a semi truck on my back. I'm trying to like pull it over my shoulder when I lay down. That's something I experience a lot in this game, especially on maps like Rebirth, where people are always in chemical or they're camping on top. It really can be frustrating to lay down a lot, and especially when you have omni movement, where like if you're sprinting, it's not as easy as just laying down because the sprinting kind of gets you jiggling around and stuff. That's been a really big issue.
There's a lot of times where I'm like screaming at the game to prone and lay down, and you're just like standing, getting shot.
Yeah, and it doesn't let you. Again, like I feel like everything that we're discussing, it's not even a knock on whatever multiplayer game is out, right? Like last year, this year, like right. But it's like again, Warzone is very different than multiplayer. These things that might work for multiplayer don't really work for Warzone. And it's like if they separated them, right? These changes, we could very well have a world where we have Modern Warfare 2019 snappiness with omni movement added to that. Like, I think that would be insane. Or
That'd be gas.
Or the same thing would happen if you just took off all the delays in omni movement right now and just made it snappy. Right?
I also wonder if it's not even just like a built-in delay, but sometimes I do feel like it's server ended, because there are games where I feel like the game is more snappy and more responsive to what I'm telling it to do, and other games where it's just awful and everything feels delayed. So that's just something else to add into the mix.
Yeah, can we pull up? Sorry, I pull up the presentation again. Go to minute 29. You can see an example of how the laying down thing can be bad for mouse and keyboard. Because aim assist, if someone's in a dark area, you kind of feel the aim assist taking over a little bit. If you go to a minute 29, you can see an example of someone splitting up, and like they look dead. Like they look really, really dead. And I've had this problem when people wear the Weaver skin, the zombie Weaver skin. I've noticed they blend in very well when they're doing certain omni movement animation, and I only pick up on them laying there because I have the aim assist to compensate from them blending in with the environment. That's like a huge issue. If you unpause it, you can see it coming up with someone plating. You'll see, yeah, look at that right there. Like, yeah, like that, I run into that a lot, and I get killed because I'm like, I thought this dude was literally dead, and I didn't have my crosshair on the floor. Yeah, look at that. If you saw that, you're not thinking that dude's alive. Again, love the game, but these are things that I'm like, really, bro? And yeah, if you're wearing Zombie Weaver, you blend in with a lot of the environment. So you guys know what I'm talking about? The Zombie Weaver skin?
I'm about to go get that skin, brother. Let me tell you.
Prestige 1, you already got it, man. Like,
well, and plus Rebirth lighting is darker inside a lot of the buildings, which like magnifies this.
Yeah, and there's this issue where like if you're peeking out from the inside, but you're inside enough, the outside almost looks like it's glowing. Like you're like have
it's like the change in light from bright to dark. Yeah, there's like a delay where it has to adjust.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, man. We obviously know there's a lot of things wrong with Warzone right now, right? And there's so many different things that all stem from just the integration that I hope that having this discussion can help in some way or another, right? Right now, Warzone, for whatever reason, is not whatever reason. There's a lot. Go ahead, Jacob.
So I think one thing that contributes to a lot, in case we don't get to this particular thing, is that I think there's certain transparency around it. And I know that like when we've gone to events, it feels like obviously a bunch of stuff has to go through approvals, like for information to be shared a certain way. So it's like they can't just come out and say, you know what? We're on top of this. We're working hard. Like even that would be like, hey, we're aware of the 100+ bugs that you guys are running into. We're on top of it. We are grinding our asses off, but they can't really tweet that or put a blog out or whatever. So I feel like that's part of the problem too, is that they can't, or they're not, or however the logistics work about that behind the scenes, because a lot of the hate, it feels like people are necessarily not being heard or feeling like they're not being heard. And I think that creates a lot of problems with the ecosystem on Twitter, where it just gets pretty toxic in the comment and everything. It's just kind of one of those things.
It's also tough timing with the holidays too. Like the fact that game's been out for 2 weeks and they're on a week break for Thanksgiving and whatnot. And then you have Christmas break coming up too. So the release year or the time of release is always tricky.
One thing too is, sorry to cut you off, is like the game felt frame wise, it felt really, really good with Modern Warfare 3, and then we hopped on a Black Ops 6, and the frames have been really bad to the point where I'm on a really, really, high tier computer, and I'm lowering all my graphics, and I still can't achieve the frames I was achieving 3 weeks ago. That's been a really big issue. I don't know if anyone has any explanation of that. Someone said that it was because there's a memory leak and like things in the distance that shouldn't be rendering at high resolution do render in. I don't know if that's true, but I really, really would hope that gets fixed.
Then there's other bugs like turning off party chat. It boosts your frames or something crazy.
For only one platform. It's not even like, oh, you can do it on every platform. It's like,
like
Steam or something. And it's like, I'm just confused of, because I was getting 240 frames max graphics on Rebirth, Vondel, Fortress Keep, and now I'm getting like 130 with max graphics. And I'm just wondering like, what happened with that? Because the optimization was great. MW2 was like iffy, and then MW3 was like buttery, like frames were good. Every gunfight I was just maximum frames. I didn't feel like I was struggling or anything. So that's, I think, a really big issue. A lot of people in the chat are talking about that. I just wanted to bring that up as well. Because
am I bugging to say that this happens every single year?
No,
like
MW2 frame rate was so low compared to 3. Like we jumped to 3 and the frames were just better. I don't know why I always remember it getting worse and worse and worse every year. I don't know. I'm being so dead ass. You think 3 was bad? Because 3 felt really, really good frame wise.
Yeah, I feel like it gets better as the year goes on because there's just small updates and bugs they fix.
As it goes on, but I feel like at the start of every Warzone integration, I feel like my chat's always like, bro, did you lose frames? I don't know.
That's because every year we get a new game, they build it up the whole year, then we get a new integration, it goes down here, and then we go back up. It's this fucking roller coaster every year, man. I'm so sick of it, bro. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
Another thing too is I don't know if this is intentional, but sometimes they change things just to change things. So an example is, the redeploy drones we've had since MW2, where like you just unfold the drone, you fly up. Right now they make a zip line noise, not a drone noise. So like someone will pop a drone, you hear a zip line. And that could be confusing because if you're in a map where you like, the layout of the map, I'll give you an example. I was on top of, what's the one below Grandma's again with the zip line where it's got like the 3-story building, 4-story building?
Nova, I think it's called Industry now.
Okay, so I was on top of there. I'm in endgame. I'm reviving my teammate. I start hearing a zip line noise. So I'm looking right at that zip line. All of a sudden, there's a dude above me flying over me like Superman. And he kills me, and I watch the kill cam, and he's not hitting that zip line I'm looking at. He's hitting a redeploy drone. Where it's like, if I heard a redeploy drone, I'm like, all right, bro, like I'm hopping off this revive, I'm looking up in the sky. So that's been another frustrating thing too, is the changing things that, I don't know if it's a change or a bug, but it's things that are not feeling the same as they were. And bugs are just, everything just like, again, it feels random royale right now. With how the game and it's not me dissing the game. I mean, this is the game. I'm specifically talking bugs and potential things that change.
To Hunter's point, I think like if you had to sum this up, like what's the number one thing that needs fixed? It's the consistency. It's the lack of randomness. It's like gunfights need to feel the same every time. You shouldn't, movement is one way this time, and then when you have your perks versus not having your perks, etc. It's just that lack of consistency.
Yeah, which I hope something can be done to address. Again, we have this discussion every single year, which we shouldn't, right? Which is the whole topic of today. But look, man, there's a lot of things that I feel like need to be fixed. We went over just a couple of them. But I do want to talk about a couple of things before. I mean, is there anything, before we move on to the whole rank topic, do you guys have anything right now you guys want to talk about the game? Just whether it be bugs or anything bad right now that you guys would like to address?
Still the audio, man. The audio's not there. Like it's not there at all. They improved it, but I'm still finding myself in situations someone's literally full sprinting, sliding, and I don't hear them until they're literally like in my face when they turn the corner. I watch the kill cam. They're not aim walking. They're gunning it. That has been a major issue. Also, no self-revive sounds as well.
True.
The chest audio is like muted. Almost.
The chest audio, I don't know.
Can't hear that shit.
It changes. Yeah, the chest audio like slows down.
There's a chest here. I can see it in front of me.
Yeah, the audio has been a big miss, I think, and same with like gun audio too. I feel like gun audio's been a huge thing. And sometimes I'll be dropping in, someone's shooting a gun unsuppressed, and I don't hear it when I'm dropping in, and then they come out of cover and kill me. I think that's been a really, really large issue, is audio.
I was gonna also add about, and this has been an issue really since MW2, MW3, but I think it's been compounded by the like quote unquote server issues we're having, is bullet velocity with long range guns. we compare it to Warzone 1, I think like the average kind of like meta AR bullet velocity was like 1300-ish. And the Jay, you can probably correct me on that. You probably know better than me.
There, yeah.
Okay. So whereas like
12 to 14, yeah.
And whereas like the average like meta build now is like 1,000, and there's a few guns you can push a little bit more. Like the Model L, I think you can push like 1,400. But most guns, the best you can push, like the meta XM4 build that everyone's running, I think is like 1080, which is not horrible, but it's slower than what we had. And then I think you compound that with the server issues, and then also that gap in. And I don't know if this existed all the way back in Warzone 1 or not. I think it did. The whole hit scan thing, where up to a certain range, it's hit scan. And then as soon as you get beyond that range, it then has to take into account the entire travel time. So if you cross that threshold, so I think like the XM4's hit scan range is like 54 meters, if I remember that correctly. As soon as you hit the 55 meters, it goes from hit scan to now you have to take into account the entire travel time. So when people are at that awkward range, and I think this is the result of like the Huskers clip where Huskers is tracking the guy, I think he's kind of right around that cutoff, is he's jumping in between that hit scan to you have to now lead the entire bullet, which would shift your reticle like an inch or two across your screen. And that's what makes these long range fights feel just like downright horrendous. Now there's the other clips, like Braxton posted a clip today where he's just spraying a dude who's like barely even moving, and you're seeing blood splatter go everywhere. I can't explain that. That's just to me just like server sided versus client sided disconnect. But I think bullet velocity does play into a major role of why long range gunfights just feel like crap.
And to add on to that is that the part you were mentioning about the higher bullet velocity, like if we did have a 1,300, 1,400 bullet velocity, then you're having hit scan up to about 65, 70 meters.
Right.
Which is basically 99% of your gunfights with a rifle. So basically everything would feel crisper with that bullet velocity. So it has a compounding effect on how good your bullet registration feels.
Yeah.
Especially shooting people out of the sky, all kinds of those different things.
And then even on top of that too, like the reticle shake and visual recoil, I mean, that's been since MW2, but like if you compare a VLK 3X from Warzone 1 to this 3X, the reticle is like buttery smooth to just jitter everywhere. So
yeah, which is one of those things where again, a lot of decisions that I feel like started in Warzone 2 and just haven't been able to, for some reason, I don't know if that's a design choice, right? But just hasn't gone away. Tyler, I guess you can answer that. Is like things like visual recoil, shake, shit like that, right? Like, is that all design choice, or is that just something that's kind of a byproduct of Warzone 2?
No, I mean, I definitely think that it falls under like design choice type stuff. I'll wipe my hands clean of this one. That was not what I worked on. So that you know, I had no say, and to be honest, I don't really have much insight into what like goes into those choices or whatnot. I'm honestly with you guys. I hate it. Like I switched from mouse and keyboard to controller because of that. Like I still play like Fortnite on mouse and keyboard because I actually prefer playing on mouse and keyboard. But not for COD.
Yeah. Okay. That's actually.
Is that a topic that gets brought up, like balancing the inputs, or is that something you had to roll in?
Yeah. No. Absolutely. It's. I mean, I brought that up all the time. Again, like that wasn't for me. Like I'm almost in the same position as you guys are in terms of like when you know we were playtesting and doing things internally. Like I could provide that feedback on like mouse and keyboard versus controller type stuff, but that wasn't an area that I had like a direct say in. I could just provide the feedback the same way that you guys could. Obviously I have a more direct line of feedback in that case, or had, but yeah, no, I mean I agree. Like I don't like it either.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, chat, for those of you that weren't here at the beginning, guys, Tyler he was a dev for ranked, chat. So when we get to that, you can ask all your questions. You guys are
a lot more
than
that too, but
yeah. That just, I know I don't want to bombard him with all the questions that he probably might not have the answers to.
Think about like I did a lot of like the out of game stuff, right? So like I didn't do like gameplay type decisions, like when we're talking about like weapon balancing or like weapon feel and all this weapon sway and visual recoil and stuff like that, movement, like that wasn't what I worked on. I worked on systems like outside of the game, so that would be like ranked or you know, like challenges and combat records and all of that type of stuff.
Okay. Well, speaking of, right, fellas, I wanted to talk about ranked because I don't know, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but I'm pretty sure from what everybody's saying is ranked comes out this Thursday, correct, fellas? I don't know.
Oh, I have no clue.
That's
dude.
Is it that
that's
soon?
The rumor. That's the rumor. Is December 5th.
I hope it
but
doesn't.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
hope it
should.
doesn't either.
I feel like they would have said, right?
That's way
Like,
too early.
That's what I'm thinking.
Is Reloaded
Like,
next week?
yeah,
No.
Reloaded
It's
is
Thursday.
Friday.
Oh, it is.
Or
Wow.
Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah. Yeah.
5th. Yeah, that's when the new zombies map starts. I think they drop new like weapons we're gonna have already. Multiplayer gets their stuff, and then it would be presumed. But like I said, I think they might be doing like a split mid-season. I don't know.
well, what did they say? Like, they didn't specifically say that ranked was coming out with 1.5, right? Like they just said it
No.
was
Baby
like
Lolo.
Urzikstan ranked was coming out during season 1.
Flash, I appreciate
Yeah.
it. I
Oh,
know they
shit,
talk
I don't
about
know why. I
this
thought they said
a lot on
1.5.
previous
And
podcasts.
wasn't MP
I can't really
ranked
control the
didn't actually
overall
come out
topic,
with
man.
Season 1 either. It came out like 3 or
Week
4 days
later.
later, or a week later, or
Yeah.
something like that,
3
right?
days later.
I would be surprised if like they've announced season 1.5,
Right.
but they haven't said ranked, right? Like
They can't.
Well, we still haven't got a roadmap for the mid-season, which we would normally get like Tuesday,
so
Wednesday.
that's when they would
vlog.
announce it, right?
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Well,
usually
Charlie
they at
Paul said
least
the
tease
5th,
it.
though.
Did he say
Yeah.
that? I'm looking at it now. His
But
post.
I didn't see like confirmation on that. I don't think it should release, especially with holidays coming up. Hackers are gonna go wild. If, like Krampus might just be the hackers this year. And the thing is too is bug wise, I don't know, man. I mean, I haven't seen the new build, but I don't
It's
know.
not a playable state unless they
Yeah, it's
somehow
not.
said, "Hey, you know what? We figured it out. There was a problem. We found it." Like,
Yeah, like
don't
again, it
know.
goes back to the whole idea of there's so many bugs. It's just random royale, and it's like if you're in a ranked setting and it's not not perfect, but not like way better than it is now. I don't know.
I think that's frustrating. I think is there's so much that comes with like getting top 250 or being the first to like number 1 or whatever. I know like Soka was like a product of this. Like back in Warzone 2 when he was number 1, his numbers jumped to the moon.
Yeah.
So if you're just like hoping that you don't like die to hackers or die to bugs or whatever, it's basically just random on who is going to get up there. So it's like
Yeah,
it just-
like how many people are gonna get the bug where they come back and they have nothing? You
Well,
know?
it's literally like ranked dropping on a new game is actually life changing. So it's like it kind of sucks that if we don't have a good game, there's like the hackers under control or at least a solution or something, then it's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyler, again, whatever you feel comfortable with talking about, what can you kind of tell us about this whole hacking situation? Obviously, you haven't worked in it for half a year now, right? But like, still, you kind of been in the trenches during rank seasons and stuff like that. Obviously, we know you guys. I know you. By the way, Chad, I'm gonna say this now. Tyler does not work on anti-cheat stuff. At least not that I know, right? That's Ricochet. He just implements the rank systems, right?
Correct.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah. So like, I'm assuming you're just as frustrated as all of us are.
Correct.
Okay. So
I have no further insight. No, for real. Like I honestly, I wish that I had a better answer in terms of like what's going on. I am as baffled as you guys are, and I know that it's just as frustrating for the active devs and the teams over there. And why it feels worse, because it like I'm not blind, right? Like it definitely feels worse like for MP rank specifically. So it feels like a safe assumption that Warzone ranked is not going to be in a great spot. So I don't know. I mean even the probably the last thing I'll say in terms of the cheater stuff is like, even if I wanted to give you guys answers, I probably couldn't, and not because I have the answers, because I don't, right? Like it's just as much kept under wraps internally as it is like externally. It's not like they cheat tech. Like that's just not how it works. So
I told y'all, Chad, Ricochet is the most secretive organization in the fucking world, bro. I swear, I told y'all.
I don't think it's a real thing. No, I'm being serious. I don't think it's a real thing. I don't think it's a real thing. So
Bro, I get like, okay, this is not for you, Tyler. This is just my thoughts, right? Like, for example, we have all these big names playing players in rank play, right? Like we have Nate Shaw, Cold Havoc, all these guys literally getting spin botted, right? Is there not some type of system where it's like, yo, we obviously see that they're hacking. We know in the kill cams they have their Activision ID. Like, is that not a thing where they can just, you know what I'm saying? Like, my head, I'm like, bro, just ban them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're live in person. Like, you can see it happening, like, blatant, right? So, like, I don't know. Like, I just don't understand how cheating persists. And then now, even more so that they released a dope ass level or like number one skin. How are they going to make sure that that level one skin or that number one rank skin doesn't go to a hacker? Because 2-3 months ago, when we had Al Mazra or not Mazra, Rebirth ranked,
ranked,
there was cheaters that got the number one player card and calling card, and no one banned them or nothing.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not super worried about like the number one stuff going to a cheater. Which I will toot my own horn on that one a little bit. That is one of the last things that I worked on before I left was all of like ranked play this year, including the number one skin and stuff like that. So yeah, I was actually super pumped when they announced it, and I saw that actually made it, and they actually like were able to move forward with that idea. So that's super sick because they look dope. But I'm not worried about that. Like with something that high visibility, I'm not worried about them actually giving it away to a cheater. Like I'm sure they'll monitor the top 250 and stuff like that. Now, in terms of why it wasn't happening at the end of last year, like I'm sure that you could probably make assumptions in terms of why it wasn't happening, but the capability is there to like monitor the top 250. I'm not worried about those rewards going to someone they shouldn't. But that's not to say that cheaters aren't going to be a problem, because like clearly it seems like they are. So
yeah. I mean,
yeah. Well, here's another issue, and again, not to like kind of discredit like the number one thing, but what sucks too is, I mean, dude, shadow bans are insane. Like we got Dongi, who's been shadow banned 4 times the past 2 weeks, who top fragged at World Series Warzone LAN. If he gets shadow banned mid-season, he's not going to be able to get number one. Now, whereas like let's say somebody like, let's say me, okay, let's say I'm quote unquote, let's say I'm whitelisted or something, or I have a protected account, or I don't get shadow banned. If I'm grinding, I could get number one, and it kind of takes away that credibility, because it's like, obviously Dongi's a way better player than I am, but because my account is quote unquote, I didn't get shadow banned, then how come he I don't know. It's just such a shit show. It really is a shit show, I feel like.
Yeah,
and that's not for Tyler. That's for everybody. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
yeah. The shadow ban system is crazy.
The shadow ban system. Which
Sorry,
is,
I mean I tried.
Yeah, no. Everybody, look. We've had this conversation with so many. I feel like we've all probably talked to somebody at Activision about shadow bans, and it's one of those things where I'm be honest. And I said, dude, that is the one topic that if we hit up anybody about shadow bans, it's the one thing they'll leave us on red, brother. Like,
it went to the Ricochet team that we don't know who it is.
Well, I do have a ranked question, because I don't know if you can even talk about it, but one of the systems that they had in place for this past year was and previously there was like this hard cap where your SR negative would stop accruing. It'd be like 285 or whatever the heck the number was. Was there ever like a contemplation to like just let it keep going, or make the number like stupid? Because I think when we actually had it where it felt like that number was super hard to hit, people were actually like, man, I might gain SR from not playing. Like, or not gain SR, but move up the leaderboard, because it was actually hard, and people that are really skillful, they would still move up gradually, like the Aidens, the Biffles, whoever, they would still move up. Hey, we moved up 100 SR today, and we can chill, and anyone who plays where they're going to lose. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like any ideas that have been talked about, like in the community, or that you guys have brought up, like I can almost guarantee that those ideas were discussed internally. Like I can't tell you the number of like spreadsheets and like models that I personally like would build out and try to figure out what the balancing should be for like these SR deployment fees and the amounts and stuff like that. It's a super difficult line to find, because on one hand, like, if you were to look take your suggestion and be like, oh, like what if we just let the SR deployment fee like go on forever? Like it stopped at 285 or whatever it was, right? And I'm pretty sure that number changed throughout the seasons or whatever, right? But like, what if we just like kept increasing it forever? Like then there would 100% be a point where, well, there's not really a reason to keep playing, right? Kind of like you were talking about, like, oh, like if I keep playing, like I'm definitely going to lose more SR than I'm going to gain, so I'll just stop. And like, obviously we don't want that to happen, right? Like we don't want players to feel like they have to stop playing. So trying to find like, where's that balance where we can continue to make sure players can, like the best players can progress, but that there are like hard stops for a player that maybe they're a top 5%, player in the world, and we kind of want them to sort of be hard stuck at 12,000 SR or whatever. I'm just making up numbers right now. Like we want a system that distribution actually happens, right?
Okay.
And it's harder in Warzone because it's not a binary system. MP, I'll be honest, it's actually way easier to design these systems in MP because it's binary. Like it's win-loss, right? And like obviously there's like certain aspects of like personal performance and like, do you take that into account, and at what levels and what ranks do you take that into account, and like all that fun stuff. I'm pretty sure they've talked about or released tidbits about stuff like that. Warzone, it's a lot harder. It's not binary, right? Like what's better, a 5 kill win or a 25 kill 30th place, right? Like which one of those things is better? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's actually a good point.
Do we know if you can queue? Because I know in multiplayer, if you queue with a 4-man, the ranks don't matter. Is that going to be in Warzone? Do we know that yet?
I don't think we know that yet.
I don't think we know that yet. Yeah.
Do you think J-God, just your personal opinion, do you think that's going to be for Warzone as well? Or do you think that's a multiplayer only thing where, so like, do you know what I'm talking about, J-God? You look a little confused.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
So
because I know when you're a low rank, you do kind of have a hidden MMR.
Okay, so let's say you have, so this is a personal problem a lot of players I know face. So let's say me personally, I have all the time in the world to play. I'm hitting Crimson. My friends that have 9 to 5s, they're probably like in silver. We can't queue together, right? In Modern Warfare 2 and 3, you couldn't do that. But with this game, if you have a full party, it doesn't matter what rank you are, but it will queue you at the highest rank. So let's say I'm Crimson 3, all my friends are bronze. They can queue with me if we're a full 4-man, but it takes us to the Crimson ranks.
Okay.
So I wonder if Warzone,
but your friends, if they're not good, they're probably gonna get spanked.
Yeah, so I wonder if Warzone will have that, because I personally, like, when you're, as the seasons go on, the higher lobbies, it takes a long time to find a game. So I wonder if that will be a thing, because I feel like if that'll be a thing, it could possibly change that.
Well,
If
that was
I were
one
to
of the.
guess,
go ahead.
I was to say, if I were to guess, any rules like that they brought in for multiplayer this year, I would guess there's a really good chance that those same restrictions or changes or whatever would be there for Warzone as well. I'll be honest, I probably actually made that decision, or at least had it written down at one point. But again, this was a year ago at this point, so I don't actually remember. But I don't remember what was decided, or it was super early when I was doing all this. So, but like I said, I would guess that a change like that, it would surprise me if they didn't bring that to Warzone.
Do we think that's a positive or negative? I think it's a positive.
I like
but
that.
it also could be a negative, because it's like, I could be I could be a high rank and my friends are not that good. I bring them into like these high ass lobbies.
Well, then you would play pubs. If your friends really aren't Crimson or iridescent,
but they still want to play rank though. Like they still love rank, that idea of it. But it's also the factor of like, all right, like the people that have like these stacked up players, it could just be them farming lower players. So it's like there's pros and cons, but I personally would like to see that change, because it sucks when I'm like, all right, no more ranked because they can't play with me anymore. But what do you guys think about that?
I love that change. I think if they're not gonna, like, hey, you're consciously making a decision to go play against better people than you. That's your decision. Or go play pubs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's fine too. But one of the things I was gonna follow up on the question is that like obviously the ranked play system worked based off the lobby queue times not being particularly long. So the actual how wide the skill gap between, because a lot of the iridescent players, top 250, they were still having diamonds in their lobbies, sometimes less depending on time. Like, were there thoughts about having like way stricter queue times? Because
this is what I was about to ask.
At the beginning, when people are going for the Apex Legend rank or whatever the hell their ranking is called when you hit the top, a Predator, is that like they might have a 15-minute queue, and they're like, all right, at least my lobby is full of sweats. I can almost name everyone because we run into each other at the top. This one is like, why was I in so-and-so's lobby? Like, what?
Right.
Yeah, that was a big question by Joe. He was always wondering, it's like, if you're actually top 250, or like, is there a way, because like people at that point, when you're at that high level, you're that high SR, you don't care about waiting. Like you want the highest competitive and like lobbies possible, because once you're at that level, yes, it's hard, but at the same time, 90% of the time, you should technically win your ranked matches. You should, unless you run into another team that you know, and it's like, okay, there's only one good team in here, and then like you play it out, right? Was there ever thoughts of that, Tyler? To like do long queue times?
100% part of the conversation. I think I'm going to reiterate really quickly that anything that, especially since we're talking about things that like I specifically worked on, right? Anything that I say is just going to be like my opinions, right? Or sort of general, these things are how design conversations work, right? None of this is official Activision, Treyarch stances or anything like that. So
okay.
But that being said, it's absolutely something that we talked about. I think that queue times it's an interesting conversation because there's just so many factors that go into it. One, especially when we're talking about like big map ranked, right? Versus we like to look at like Apex and stuff like that. Apex has there's like it's like 60 players, right? Is that am I remembering correctly? Yeah. Apex is like 60 players. Like even adding, whether it's 100 players or 120 players or whatever it is, like that makes a massive difference in like being able to get that many people of the same skill. Like I don't even feel like that's pretty common, would be common sense, right? Like you have 250 players in the top 250, right? Like obviously it's not realistic to expect that even 50%, like that we're going to get 50 of those players, all playing at the same time and all queuing at the same time. And like, I'll be honest, I personally don't know that Call of Duty players would wait 20 minutes for a match. That's kind of just my personal opinion.
That's a long queue for sure.
I think Call of Duty players are also maybe like, come on, we play the arcade game, right? Like we're a lot more. I think our audience is probably a lot more impatient than like a League of Legends, like that you brought up. Like they really will wait like 45 minutes for their grandmaster queue or whatever it is, right? Like nobody's doing that.
We got TikTok brain rot over here, bro.
For real.
Another thing to say
Bithel's in the chat saying he ain't waiting for shit. So like,
that guy's a fucking toddler. I mean, Tyler, then would it, like, let's not go to one extreme end, right, where it's only top 250, but was there ever conversations to do, okay, like, all right, if you're in like, Erie, right, because Erie and above doesn't matter, like it's the same thing, right? Like only Erie and Crims, like once you hit Erie, you only queue with Erie and Crims. Because I feel like there's enough people to make lobbies for that. Or if you're in Crim, you only queue with, I would say, like Erie or like one below, right? Is there a world where that was possible, or is that not something? Because right now, like, yes, ranked still does feel like ranked, but not necessarily because it like you're playing against good players, but more that you have to get a certain amount of kills, and people that you're competing against in other lobbies are trying to get a certain amount of kills too. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, in an ideal world, like I obviously I feel like it's safe to say that like not only do I agree, but I feel like anyone in my position would also agree that it would be the best if we could have full lobbies of like all iridescent players or even like crimson iridescent players. Now we can like that data is obviously available. Like we know exactly what the average lobby looks like, for top 250 players and iridescent players and all the way down to bronze players, right? So it's obviously a conversation that we had. I think that probably the safest thing that I can say is that those conversations are had, and I think they kind of have to just make the decisions that taking all those factors versus in terms of like making sure ranked is as competitive as it can be, taking into consideration like ping and queue times and the freedom to like play with your friends, which is kind of ties back into that, can iridescent play with bronze and silver players and stuff like that conversation. All of these things, like this just kind of goes to show how complicated even a simple question of like, can we make all these lobbies within one skill division or something like that? Like there's just so many factors that go into it that it's just really difficult to find a perfect scenario.
Yeah.
Can you comment on?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Can you comment on all? I assume this is probably out of your realm or something you couldn't even comment on, but like, this is something I noticed a lot when it was a new season and everyone gets, all the Eerie players get reset to diamond or something. If there is like a hidden MMR that's also taken account of like your previous rankings. So for example, like early days in, when I'm playing other people that have been also reset the diamond, I feel like every single diamond team I'm running into, I see they have the Eerie calling card and they're actually Eerie level players. Is that something it's not purely just based off what your rank is, but outside factors that influence the matchmaking?
Yeah, I think that they're like the blogs that they released that had like all the information. I feel like I don't have any like additional insight outside of what they specifically said. Like I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, but when like ranked came out last year, whenever it first came out, like they said that like matchmaking is based on your current rank, right? Like they've said that before. And whereas MP, they've specifically said that matchmaking is based on like your current rank plus your hidden MMR. Like they've said that in their blogs, right?
I have no idea about
I don't recall, but yeah, I don't know.
I've heard about that.
I'm pretty sure that the blogs and stuff have said that. Like obviously Warzone, like 4v4 is so much different of a game than 60 players or 100 players or 120 players or whatever, right? And so short answer is I think what they've said publicly is true. I think that to sort of maybe go into what you're talking about, the players that are getting iridescent or that are getting top 250 or that are even getting crimson, those are also the most dedicated players. So like it's not really that surprising that day one launch comes out, you're going to see a ton of iridescent players in your lobby because like those are all the players that are getting on and playing day one, whereas like your diamond dads, right, are probably not getting on right at launch. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Diamond dads.
Diamond dads, bro. Yo, someone needs to trademark that shit ASAP.
I had a concern to bring up. Sorry, I just want to do with ranked play. The whole idea, again, someone said it in chat. It kind of made me think about it. Is the idea of if you have a full party and you can play with lower ranks, what's stopping someone from being like crimson and they bring in a bronze 1 cheater in a 3-man full party? That guy gets banned. He hops on the bronze 1 account again. All right, bro, I'm almost iridescent. Like, just keep making accounts. We can keep playing no matter what. What stops that? Like, is there a way to stop that? Like, if that system is implemented, like, how would that look?
Well, won't Warzone still have the minimal requirement of probably a certain number of wins, like they did with multi this year?
Or games played.
Wins.
Yeah, they'll definitely have something to stop like a brand new account from jumping in right away, right? But
yeah, I still feel like that could be a present issue in some way because people can buy accounts. Oh, this has 50 games played on it already. Stuff like that could occur. It's a free to play game too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that could be an issue. I see that as an issue, but
yeah, I mean, I think that it just goes into that same conversation. It's like, we call it kind of like competitive integrity, right? Like, how do we make sure that ranked matches are as competitive as possible and that they kind of like live up to a certain standard, but also like how do we make sure that friends can play with their friends, right? Just kind of like what we started the conversation with. So it's one of those things that just discussions are had and decisions are made based on whether it's we think option A is better, option B is better, or a compromise option C is better, right?
Yeah.
Damn, boys. I don't know. I just hope, right, if it does come out this week, I honestly don't think it's going to come out this week. Everybody keeps saying it is. Maybe somebody got intel. I'll be honest, I don't think it is, just because there's been no blog. And normally, don't they do, I guess it was Thanksgiving, right? So that could be why there was no blog.
Probably come out tomorrow or Tuesday if it did.
Yeah, I feel like it'll come out tomorrow if ranked play's coming out. Which we'll obviously know. I just hope that here is what I think is going to happen, which sucks, right? We're going to get, a lot of people don't like Resurgence ranked. Like, it's not actually ranked, at least from the competitive side of players, right? It might be popular to the whole community, right? But what they're probably going to do, this is what I hate, is they're going to see the numbers for big map ranked, and they're going to be down. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, the big map ranked, if it does come out this week, will be lower than Rebirth ranked in Modern Warfare 3. I feel like I could bet money on it, and I pray that they don't make a decision like, oh look, player counts were higher in Resurgence. We're going back to just all Resurgence rank from now on, because
I
I
would be so
genuinely think
surprised.
I think that's what's going to happen. I don't
I
know.
would I would be genuinely surprised if Big Map ranked ever goes away permanently.
Really,
Yeah, I would be so surprised.
there's hope.
Well, we got Verdansk coming too, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Verdansk, I'm pretty sure. I feel like Verdansk will be ranked. Like, there's no way they don't make Verdansk ranked. If they give us Area 99 ranked, I will fucking.
Yeah, I remember in Warzone 1 we were begging for ranked and Verdansk like so badly.
Even as a
well,
Resurgence player myself, I want Big Map ranked.
Earlier this year, right? Like they publicly, like they all told everybody that it's like, hey, Resurgence rank comes out, and then we'll have Big Map rank coming out as well. Now, Big Map ranked never ended up coming out.
Yeah,
last year, right? Like technically
later.
it's coming out this year, right? You know, so they didn't lie, right? But I think we can at least take from that the intention. They would like to have both Resurgence ranked and BR ranked coexist. Whether that's still the plan, I don't know. They obviously they said that was the plan earlier this year. So if nothing has changed, you know, we can probably assume that might still be the plan. Obviously a lot, you know, can have changed, but I don't think they're ever. I shouldn't say never. I would be surprised. I would be surprised if Big Map ranked did end up going away in favor of Resurgence ranked.
So I guess, what are the decisions that, like, what type of things do you guys look at, right? Obviously past tense, like when it comes to deciding, can you have two maps have ranked at the same time? Can you have Resurgence ranked and BR ranked at the same time? Like, what is there certain, like, is it more player count? Is it more like will it be balanced? What type of things?
No, 100%.
Stop
It's absolutely whether or not we think that we could support a healthy population of both, right? Because there's a lot of overlap. Like, you have Resurgence players, you have BR players, and then you have competitive players, and even competitive players, like, it's pretty safe to assume that, like, most competitive players, at least in my perspective, kind of lean towards BR because that's what the official competitive format has been, right? But like, you have your Resurgence players that are like the best Resurgence players that they have been asking for Resurgence ranked for forever, right? So you definitely have players that are like, they're Resurgence ranked players, then you have casual Resurgence players, then you have casual BR players, then you have BR ranked players, and then you probably just have competitive players that kind of would just play whatever competitive format. So you see what I'm saying? It's like, we all of a sudden start to segment players a lot, and it's like, can we support a healthy enough population to make sure that, you know, if we did have Resurgence ranked and BR ranked all at the same time, can those actually coexist? And can we actually have, like we were just talking about, it's like, hey, like, iridescent players are in lobbies with silver players, but it's like, are we able to, like, would that get even worse if we all of a sudden are splitting players with Resurgence ranks? So like, those are the kind of conversations that we have to try to make decisions like that.
Here's my thing. I think if they were going to do Resurgence ranked again, let's say they do, hopefully not. I mean, I'm kind of a Resurgence guy.
Nah, even Swiss Glazing Resurgence ranked. Don't lie to you. Good glazing.
I liked it. Besides losing to 200 cheaters in the top 250, that was miserable. But I think that, like, if they're going to do Resurgence ranked, they need to do some kind of competitive Resurgence tournament, or like with qualifiers. Like, they need to do another CDLR. You can't just like throw this mode in the game that has no competitive structure, because there's nothing that, like, what are we playing for? We're just playing for a number. I mean, I'm losing it to cheaters anyways. It doesn't really matter. So it's like, there needs to be something that, like, people are playing for. Whereas, like, Big Map rank, we have Big Map rank because that's the preparation for quote unquote World Series of Warzone. You could give the casuals that feel that, like, oh, like, I get on Big Map ranked and, like, I'm gonna go for World Series this year. Like, I'm gonna do it. Like, this, like, at least that little, I don't know.
I mean, players like competitive stuff no matter what. Like you have, there's way more players that, like, no aspirations for CDL, no aspirations for Warzone, but, like, they just like a competitive environment. They just like a competitive game, right? And so, yeah, I mean, there's definitely, like I said, there's definitely an audience for all of these things. It's just whether or not.
Yeah.
I had a quick question too. In terms of format, was there ever any like contemplation about like solos or solo queuing or
Bro.
yeah, like because I think there's a lot of solo diehards, like the Irons or those types of people, or even Metaphor, where they're like solo grinders, and they would play that. And there's a lot of players like in the community that aren't content creators; they're just gamers. They love solos, like they love everything about it.
Totally. Yeah. I would die for a solo ranked, man.
That'd be
Like
sick.
that would be, I would absolutely, I don't have friends anyways, so it's like I just play by myself, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, but like I don't care if I'm not good or whatever. And it's like I'm also like I'm the diamond dad that we were talking about earlier, right? And so but like I just, so it's like I want to be competitive, but like I would die for a solo ranked BR.
Be
dude.
fun.
Like that
Do
would
you
be
think-
so much fun.
Do you think it would take out trios?
Yeah, but
Or would
but
it be
so
two separate
so
things?
it's literally the exact same conversation as whether we can support Resurgence ranked and BR ranked. It's, can we now support a Resurgence ranked, a solo Resurgence ranked, a BR ranked, and a solo BR ranked? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, it's the same playlist conversation that we've had for 5 years or whatever, right? And like Raven has come out and talked about how difficult it is to kind of like balance the playlists. And it's like, oh, why are duos gone? But it's like, you know, solos, duos, trios, quads, BR, solos, duos, trios, quads, Resurgence, solos, trios, Resurgence ranked, solos, trios. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's just that's a lot, right? So so it's really just whether or not it can be supported. I personally would love solo BR ranked. I would love it. And
Yeah, guys, the same Fortnite
I
chat.
obviously like I obviously have you know, I've brought that up personally, and I guess it's safe enough to say like, hey, it doesn't exist yet. Does that mean it could exist in the future? Like maybe, I don't know. It'd be cool.
Well, on the topic of that, that's actually a good point. Fortnite actually just revealed that they're gonna bring back OG Fortnite, like the original map, but also continue the path of building new things. Do we think at all with Verdansk coming back that could be a possibility in the slightest, or do we think we're gonna give Verdansk for 8-9 months and then shelved once again? What do we realistically think here? Because I mean, if Call of Duty's bringing back Verdansk because they saw OG Fortnite doing well, and hypothetically, if OG Fortnite does good while they're building this Chapter 6, could we possibly see like that idea of, all right, like here's the OG map, but we're going to continue to build a new experience? Could we possibly see that, or do we think that's never going to happen?
It sounds sweet. But...
It sounds sweet for sure. I think Fortnite probably is has some more freedom, maybe is the word, or Fortnite is very unique. Guys, like didn't they just break their
they just hit
current player count record? 14 million players concurrently.
Can do it.
That's unreal, guys. That's unreal, right? Like Call of Duty is a massively successful, popular game, and it always will be. Fortnite, dog, dude, that's a different animal.
I think one of the biggest issues is from when I've talked to people is that the constraints of the size of the maps.
Totally.
Like Verdansk is just so huge. And so is Caldera, and so is Al Mazrah, and so is Urzikstan. These are like monstrous. And it's not like, oh, cool, let's keep Verdansk, and then we're gonna have Avalon or whatever the heck the leak is on that. And now we have like 500 gigabytes in maps or something stupid. It just doesn't work for the console.
All right, so that's not gonna happen then.
Although it's interesting how Fortnite
unless they figured a way to work around it.
But Fortnite has like the 100 of different, creator mode maps. Like there's like 1,000 different maps in Fortnite. I mean, they've obviously found a way to off-source it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not on the tech side of things, so I don't really know. But I obviously I can. You don't download 8,000 different maps to your machine with Fortnite, right?
Yeah, I did. I dude, imagine that.
I'd love to see that.
A creator mode for Call of Duty. Holy fuck.
I mean, hey, Black Ops 3 is still played a lot on PC because the whole zombie thing.
The zombies
you can make maps. Like they just released Mob of the Dead 2.0 like on Black Ops 3. It's pretty cool, but I mean, hey, if we get even 2 big maps eventually, that'd be awesome. Like if it was just for dance and then they continue to build the experience, I would love that, but hey, everyone's saying it's not possible.
I with the size of everything, like I personally, obviously, but this is me speaking selfishly, and I know I'm speaking selfishly, I would download however much I need to get rotating maps. But again, I'm speaking selfishly. I assume that if I mean, does anybody even know how big is Warzone right now? Does anybody know even a
I can check
general
right
It's
now.
idea?
over 100 gigs.
It's like 160 or something, 170. If you just have the game by itself, maybe 147 or something.
Hey, I would download 300 gigs to get 2 maps rotating. You know what I'm saying? I know. I'm speaking selfishly. I'm being
Yeah, somebody
honest.
says 165. It's less than 200.
And we think
Damn.
Big Map takes like a big chunk of that for sure. I don't know. I'm just asking 'cause I don't know.
Well, you
things
said
like
that's
this.
Warzone only, right?
That's Warzone only. That's without downloading
Multiplayer,
Multiplayer,
campaign.
okay.
multiplayer, and
Zombies campaign.
and then campaign and Spec Ops for a game that's 5 years old. That somehow you need to download that patch to make the game work right. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just playing.
Dude, listen, man. I hope one day they give us back Al Mazrah. Even though mechanics
great
were
map.
horrible,
I have a question. All right, I have a question. So,
right.
how come when we got this Urzikstan, like, maybe it's a question Tyler can answer. How come were they able to choose whatever map, or did they have to go from last year's map, Modern Warfare 3, to the new Black Ops 6 integration? Did they have to do Urzikstan, or could they have done like Al Mazrah or like something else? You know what I'm saying? Like, why Urzikstan? Because it feels like they changed. We were talking about the scaling and stuff, like with the game. Like, obviously the things are different. Could they have possibly done Al Mazrah?
I think for whatever reason that Verdansk didn't come out this year is probably the same reason why they couldn't have done something like Al Mazrah. And this is just me making assumptions, right? Like I found out the same time as all of you that Urzikstan was going to be the map this year. Like, yeah, I don't.
Got it. Okay.
I would just
Makes sense.
assume that just a
That's
a
actually a
time
good
thing.
point.
Like they're not going to put the effort into bringing back an old map.
Right.
That
I just didn't know what
Verdansk
kind of
when they already said-
resources. I just didn't know what kind of resources went into like bringing Urzikstan to the Black Ops 6 like integration. So I didn't know if it was like pretty, if it would have just taken like the same amount of resources to just do Al Mazrah instead of Urzikstan. But I guess that makes sense because
Yeah,
they even
I don't know.
they
Probably
even brought
not.
back an older version of Urzikstan. So I was like, okay, why didn't they just bring back an old map in Al Mazrah? But okay.
I wonder.
I'm gonna just stick with I don't really know. I could make some assumptions, but I don't know how accurate they
for
are,
sure.
and I don't want to have them be clipped out of context.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, fellas, I think for me, I've gotten all my questions. I like that I had specifically for ranked, right? But then we talked about everything. I hope that ranked actually feels like ranked if it does come out Thursday. Tyler, did you have any? Did you work on this specific Warzone ranked, or was it not during your time? And if you can't answer that, that's okay.
No, 100%. Like I said, this is one of the last things that I worked on is like everything that has to do with ranked this year, both on MP and Warzone side. I started all that work. So not much is like all of the information about this is all stuff that I worked on. So
W. Okay, cool. I'm excited. then. Yeah, again, I hope that for me, I want it to feel like ranked. For me personally, I've done every single ranked. I would say like 85% of the seasons. I didn't really play too much of Resurgence ranked too much with it. Rebirth, that shit got boring. But like BR ranked, I did every season. Though I think my favorite one is like the second one, where I don't know what it was a big change that I really didn't like, but there was a point where it literally felt like, yo, I was like, this is the most competitive.
What you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? It was in Warzone 2.
What you're talking about.
It was something. It was like the second iteration of it. I was like, bro, this feels damn near perfect. And then the very next one, I think 3, they changed it completely.
Horrible, right? It was like Donkey was at like 60,000 SR or something.
Yeah, it was like way too easy. But Tyler, if you can recollect the memory, what was the one?
No, they changed the SR. Like what that was me, right? We changed the SR values. Like those first 3 seasons that Warzone Rank came out, like we changed the SR values like every season, right? Like we tweaked them to kind of try to find that balance. Because like I said, like it's so much different from MP, where MP we get that very binary win-loss, and like doing a rank system based on that, there's a lot of things that there's an advantage to that. Whereas like a rank system for a BR is a lot more there's just so much more that goes into it. And so we're essentially, I think the most that I can probably say about it is that like we were looking at the distribution, like where we planned for it to end up, like where we wanted it to be a normal ranked distribution, right? Like every game has thing where it's like, oh yeah, top
Gold.
0.1% is top 250, top 1% is iridescent, top 5% is crimson, whatever it happens to be, right? And so those first few seasons, like we had our projections and we had what we wanted it to be and what we thought the SR would do based on all the data and work that, you know, we had done. And so we were making changes to try to get closer to what we wanted it to be and what was healthy for a ranked environment. And there was pros and cons to those changes that were made. So
Okay. All right. Damn.
Oh, here's one I would guess that you can't answer, but
Sweet.
when it came to ranked, obviously Warzone didn't have ranked for the entirety of Warzone until it did, right? And
Yeah.
then when it did come out, was there like surprise that like, or like, did it end up being received more than maybe initially had thought? Like, oh, you know what? Only
It was
5% of the
massively
player base,
popular.
massively popular.
Massively popular.
Wait,
Yeah.
ranked was massively popular?
More
Oh, yeah.
than yeah, okay.
Wait.
Like when BR ranked came out, like in, you know, what was it, 2023? Is that when it first came out?
Something like that, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there, right? Massively popular.
Really? Even with Warzone 2 being Warzone 2?
I mean, massively popular in terms of the popularity of the game as a whole, right? Like if
Yeah,
we
what
compared
percentage of the
if we were to
players are
compare, like we were to take all the players that are engaging in Warzone, right? BR ranked was hugely popular.
And then was there
And so was Resurgence ranked. Like ranked has always been super popular.
okay, that's what I was gonna want. Like I probably you probably can't answer this, but
So it's for me that just means they'll continue to support it. It's like one of those things where it feels like obviously if it wasn't engaged well, then obviously it'd be like,
Yeah, it's totally never
let's
going away.
invest our support somewhere else. But yeah,
Yeah, no, it's part of the COD ecosystem now, right? Like
Yeah.
I would be, again, never gonna say never, but I would be baffled if ranked ever went anywhere. Like there will be ranked in one way, shape, or form, and like I hope that they continue to add ranked things in the future.
I feel like I already know the answer to this, right? But I feel like I already know it, right? But and again, if you can't answer, completely understand. But discrepancy wise, BR versus Resurgence ranked, was that number pretty drastic?
I'll be honest, I don't remember. Even if I wanted to answer, I don't remember. BR ranked
Okay.
was I could throw out numbers that I think they might would have been that they were, but again, I don't think that was public data, so I'm gonna try not to.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like I guess
They were
my
popular.
hope. My hope is that they never bring back Resurgence ranked ever again. That's what my. That's what my hope.
Again, if I were to make a guess, right? If I were to make a guess, BR ranked is here. That's what's coming out. They've commented on that. I would be super surprised if BR ranked ended up going away. But I would not be surprised if Resurgence ranked eventually came back alongside BR ranked.
Okay, I like that.
That's
Give
what
people the opportunity.
hope. I hope that's what happens. You know, it's hard to say, and numbers and data and all that fun stuff is always changing and whatnot. But that would be my guess.
Joe, we just talked about that just for you, Joe. We shouted you out and everything, Joe.
Please make Q. Oh yeah, the Q time stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. I mean, look, bro. I would hope that they obviously both is always better than just one. Right. For me, obviously, with World Series of Warzone being the actual competitive environment, Resurgence ranked just had no place, and it's just not Resurgence ranked. It's just not. Like, I don't know, it's not competitive. But my own opinion.
What if we just change World Series of Warzone to Resurgence?
Okay, buddy. Okay, you're going to check me now. You're going to check me now, bro.
Now we're talking, Tyler. Let's go, man. Come on.
Then there would be no problem, right? Because again, we're aligned with the.
I'd be like, you know what? I mean, I'll be honest. Yo, I'm gonna keep buck 50. This might be unpopular opinion, but Fortune's Keep ranked was way better than Rebirth ranked. Like I'm talking like 2 times as good.
Yes.
Because Keep plays more like a BR map.
How would you feel about Resurgence Vondel ranked?
Yes.
I would like to try it.
Would have been
like to
interesting.
try
I
it.
personally would like to try
It's
it
too late
too.
now. It's too late now. It would have
Ow.
cooked,
That
though.
map is gone, bro.
No,
It ain't
they
good.
should. They should have done
Wait,
Fortunes.
wait.
I don't know,
They should have
man.
done
Never say
Fortunes.
never, right?
They should.
How do you know it's not coming back though?
Just
A
talk
shaker
about
ranked.
it. Just talk about it loud enough, right? Like,
Jay God, it's not coming back. What do you mean it's not coming back? Vondel?
Bro, Vondel's about to get the Ashika treatment.
It's in the playlist like files though
It's
for
about to
future.
get the Ashika treatment.
Where? You got a playlist?
I swear to God, the very credible like.
He's got a
guy
clip.
that just
Okay, I'll have
does
to
whatever.
see that
Bring up the clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Sorry, I don't have this in the presentation.
Vondel
Why would they
ranked,
get rid of it though?
Vondel ranked would have been insane, especially with 72 players.
I
but
love
it's too
Vondel.
late. Rebirth ranked was
Yeah.
horrible. It was a mess. The map was so good for content, casual pubs. Vondel would have been goated for ranked, but they trolled. It's too late.
I don't see how they could shell Vondel completely though. That's like one of the most unique maps we've ever gotten.
No, I agree.
feel like.
Well, I think it all depends on
It's
player
just-
counts, right? What did those player counts look like for Vondel?
Yeah.
Were they that high? Because I assume a fucking Ass Cheeks Island was not the greatest perceived, so they got it out. Right? That's why Rebirth came back, because the player count is so high. If they took out Vondel, that's got to mean that the player counts wasn't that bad. I'm not saying that it can never come back. I'm just saying that like it probably didn't have as high numbers as other ones, you know?
Okay, yeah. Fortune Tea's coming back, right?
I have no idea.
No, I
I'll
think
be
Rebirth
honest.
is gone.
I
I'm gonna
don't know
guess
what's
no.
coming back.
Okay.
Listen, man,
I think we're stuck with 99 in Rebirth for a bit.
I love Area 99. I'm gonna keep buck
Yeah,
50,
99's good. I like it.
but I don't want. I want rank to be on BR, whatever World Series of Warzone. You know what? Fuck it. If they change World Series of Warzone Resurgence, give me back Resurgence fucking rank, bro. Hey, you know.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, if we get a Resurgence ranked, like throw in a CDLR. I'm not talking about EWC because that's a whole third party, but they got to do like a big CDLR type of Resurgence tournament if they're going to do Resurgence ranked, in my opinion.
Which we do have EWC,
Yeah,
but I know that's
like
not
a whole-
really
that's a third
directly.
party.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. Well, fellas, I think we cooked today, man. Today was a great fucking pod. Do you guys have any other questions that you kind of feel like we didn't cover? I feel like we covered everything.
I have one more question. Has nothing to do with whether or not we covered, but it's just a question that I like to ask, kind of from a design perspective as well.
Okay.
And I also have an answer, but I would love to know from a design perspective. So we're not talking about bugs, we're not talking about issues, right? But just from like, what is one thing that if you could change anything about the game, what would you change?
From a design perspective.
Yeah, like a system, or we're talking about. I mean, obviously, someone's probably going to say, friggin' MW19 movement or whatever, but like stuff like that. Like if you could just
Mine is
change a design
specifically
thing.
the weapon bob and visual shake the guns have.
I would agree. If I had to narrow it down to one, it would be that, and then the close second is just the snappiness in movement, not necessarily movement speed or anything, just the responsiveness.
Okay. Yeah, visual recoil is pretty ass. I can't lie.
It's so bad.
Because I think that
I would
opens
say
up to mouse and
horizontal
keyboard
and, like-
players back. I think it's like a whole population that's been like shunted away from this game.
I was actually watching like Cold War like integration gameplay the other day, like with the EM2, and like
Those
the fact
things
that
are crazy.
the fact that we only had to control like vertical and horizontal recoil was like the best. Like I don't know.
You know, because you guys covered that, I'm gonna say like instant, no penalties, pretty much. Modern Warfare 2019 didn't have
Yeah,
penalties.
bunny hopping, drop shotting.
Just delays and shit. Delays in
Oh,
movement.
so it's
that'd be
still
mine.
movement. You guys are such movement junkies. Jeez.
It's such a
Man,
major
like-
component of the game.
Okay, fine. Wait. Hunter, did you say what you would change?
Honestly, I don't really know, man. I'm not like that deep in that side. Would you consider lighting game design at all, or because man, I think lighting's been a major issue for a minute. I don't know if that takes into account at all, but it's kind of
All right. Well,
I don't
let
know.
me give you guys an
I don't have
example.
anything to
Okay,
say.
this is what I would change. I would weapon leveling would be gone. I would
Oh.
take out. I would
Oh,
take
yeah,
out.
yeah.
I forgot.
I would take
okay, yeah,
out.
that's what I'd say actually. Yeah, that'd be my thing.
Weapon leveling would be gone. Specifically for Warzone, right? Like
Yeah,
I think my
okay, yeah.
least favorite thing about Warzone is that I have to level weapons, and like it's almost even worse with Prestige because again, I'll bring back the Diamond Dads into the conversation, right? Like we're not max prestige. We're not prestige master already. In fact, like most of the players won't get past freaking prestige 2 or 3, right? If they prestige at all. And so like having to level weapons, especially in Warzone where it's like you don't spawn in with a weapon and like leveling them is even harder because like for most players they don't even have them for a huge portion of the game. It's so
Battle
annoying
passes
and no other BR is like that. Like it obviously like it kind of makes sense in MP, but I would even remove it in MP. I think there's obviously progression is important and like giving players something to progress is important, but I almost feel like we kind of took a step towards that this year in that camos are not tied to weapon level. Like there's a separate way to progress camos with weapons. Like I feel like that is good enough, even if you made it longer. Like even if you made that take the weapon leveling kind of progression, sort of push, like how long weapon leveling takes right now. Like even if you swapped the time so you still had something for players to grind towards, I just hate weapon leveling. Like,
No,
it's
I
the
agree.
worst.
I agree.
think, like,
I agree.
progression should only be like cosmetic. Like you're working towards a skin or camos or whatever. And like I feel like weapon leveling only
Crosshairs.
hurts the people that don't play the game that much. Like people that like do this for their job, whatever. Like obviously, like it doesn't really matter. Like you get on the game anyways, use the guns. But yeah, weapon leveling it's stupid. I feel like cosmetic stuff should be cool. Like there's something that looking at a person and be like, oh damn, they have that skin that they had to get this amount of kills for or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I agree with that.
Well, it's crazy how like even, most of us in here, like, we're full-time content creators, and like I have dark matter, but I am nowhere near having all my guns max level. So imagine that from one of the diamond dads. Like they might have 2 or 3 guns that are even close to max level. And even then it's just like, oh, like there's an update, there's some new meta gun. And it's like, all right, well now there's another 8 hours I got to drop in just to max level this one gun just so I can play with it in Warzone. So yeah, it's just a huge barrier to entry.
And not to mention that this year is significantly harder than any year it's ever been to level up guns, which I thought was a bug, but
especially if you don't own Warzone, because like previously,
no. MW 2019
I
and
was gonna
Vanguard
say
were
that
significantly
was worse.
slower.
Really?
71 levels, bro.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. This is
more
not the
levels,
worst it's
but
ever been.
It didn't
I think
feel that long though.
against the backdrop of MW3, where it's like you could level a weapon in 2 matches. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe that's why.
That's why it
22
feels so
levels, yeah.
bad. That's why it feels so bad.
And I'd be okay with the MW3
Cold
if
War
it's
was pretty
legit,
slow.
like a few
Cold War was
matches.
pretty slow too. You had to get to level 55 on all the guns. They
Yeah,
actually
Cold War was
lowered the
slow.
leveling. Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, even though it's 70 levels, but like what was the time to fully unlock? Yeah, like it might be
2019. It was 7 to 8 hours, no double XP.
And this game, do we know?
I feel like it's around 2 hours with double XP.
What?
Is it that fast?
I think it's like 5 to 6 hours without double XP. And again, you're
And I'm min maxing for 2 hours.
I would say we got to think
realistically.
about perspective, right? Like everyone in here, not only are they top fragging every match, which means they're going to level up a little bit faster, right? The average player is not doing that, so it's taking them even longer.
Damn, if Modern Warfare 2019 was longer, that's actually insane.
MW19 was also out for several months prior to Warzone, so I did feel like more people went into Warzone already having guns max level.
Yeah.
Versus like being rushed. You have 2 weeks to get your guns leveled up before Warzone drops.
True. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Anyways, fellas. W fucking pod. I think we went over all the biggest issues in the game right now. Went over audio cheaters, weapon bob, fucking animations, ranked, everything, networking. We went over everything. There's a lot to be fixed, man. And I really do hope that by the time Verdansk comes out, this shit is in a good state.
I have a quick question that maybe you'll be able to answer. So with certain updates, I know certain things are tied to certain types of updates, whether it's a playlist update or they do like a full-on title update where you got to download 10 gigs. Like,
yeah.
Are there a lot of these things that can be fixed without the title update that you would be aware of? I mean, if you had to, like, obviously you'd have to go case by case, but in general, like, do we have to wait for this mega update that's going to happen on the mid-season?
I'll be honest, I was there for 2 years and I still don't know exactly what kind of things can be changed with a playlist update and what can be changed at a half season update and what can be changed at a week clip. I honestly did that's tech stuff that's complicated and I honestly have no idea.
It was worth
what can be
asking
changed
because I know it is a kind of weird one because sometimes it feels like, oh, boom, they did that instantaneously.
Yeah,
and now it's like, oh, they can't do that until the title update. Like, what the fuck is taking so long? Like,
like I said, that's it's just complicated. There's 100% things that have to that just can't be changed until certain types of updates that they do, and some that can be patched right into the live game, and it just everything is so different. And sometimes it is a tech limitation, and sometimes it's like a deliberate choice that they wait and stuff like that. Like, it's just all complicated.
Cool.
Jesus.
I have one more thing to touch on as well that I hope we see change on is we had a lot of limited time modes with Modern Warfare 3, and I hope we can see that with this game. Like Rebirth had the get high mode, whatever, where Rebirth was just chaotic as fuck, and we had like the game mode respawning with your loadout and a few other game modes. I hope we see that with this game, so it feels a little bit more fresh when you're not feeling the core game modes. I hope we get things like that. truly,
I hope
because
so too.
they were so fun in Rebirth when they started rolling out the new modes constantly.
I wonder if like if you think about it, back then I feel like Caldera and in Modern Warfare 2019 we had a good amount of modes, but in the last 2 years we haven't really had much. We've had a couple maybe. You know, even in Modern Warfare 2, like, I think a lot of it is that, bro, I feel like they're just the resources are spent on trying to fix the game. Last year, I feel like it was a pretty good year where there wasn't an insane amount of shit broken. So we had like they said the get high mode. We probably had other ones, but like in Warzone 2, I don't even remember there being that many modes in that one.
There was El Mazra, like 100-player resurgence. That game was pretty good, but it was a really, really short-lived mode. But it actually
massive
worked.
resurgence or something?
Yeah.
Was fun.
Surprisingly worked really, really well when they did massive resurgence. Yeah, it worked completely. It actually was fun. Like, I was surprised it wasn't like this. All right, like we'll play this twice ago. It was a really good map they gunned, and I hope that we get more things like that. Just
it was good.
You know, limited time, try it out. I hope.
Yeah, hey man, we gotta fix the game first, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I hope they do. Any final thoughts, fellas? I don't want. If you guys have more stuff to say,
I have a final thought that it's very small, but when it comes to cosmetics, they have this issue right now where so like you'll buy a skin, you'll wear it, you have a footprint trail, like 5-6 steps of like Black Cell. When you're running around Black Cell, you have lava footprints following you. It's like tracker. And another issue with that is if someone's wearing a $30 Black Cell skin, you can see the footsteps leaking through the floor, so you know someone's there. So like an example is someone's wearing a Black Cell skin. I can see the lava footsteps through the floor. I'm like, oh, let me just go upstairs and shoot them. And I noticed a lot of the skins have that. I think the shark skin has like a little water effects behind it. And the like steampunk one that just came out, it has electricity effect behind it. And it's like, why am I gonna wear these skins if it's just giving people free tracker on me?
Pay to lose.
Yeah. Hey Hunter, that's getting fixed tomorrow ASAP now.
Tomorrow, brother.
Yep.
I don't think that'll ever change, but I hope that gets changed. Let's see if it's in the presentation. Hold on. I don't think I put it in the presentation because I did. Yeah, it's in there. Okay.
No way.
Go to the presentation. Go to 4 minutes 14 seconds. You see it on how it's affecting me, and then in later clips you see I'm literally chasing somebody, and then you see another clip where it's going through the floors, and I'm like, all right, this guy's just chilling up here. Let me go up there. You can see it. Like I have tracker on some of the clips, but still, like I don't have tracker in other ones. You can see clear as day. All right, there you go. Look. All right, as you can see right here, it's on me. I'm like, really? Like, okay, you don't think it's a big deal? So look, there you go. And just wait. You see it upstairs. This clip, you can kind of see it, and then the next clip, it's ridiculous. Look at that. You can just see him from the floor. Yeah, so
I
I'm
love
like,
your editing
why
style,
am
bro.
I gonna buy? Yeah, look, you can see all these skins. I'm like, yeah, if you bought these skins, like, don't even use them because you just get tracked a lot easier. You don't want to get as easily tracked. Yeah, it's so many skins. Like the steampunk skins the same way. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up for you.
Hey, at least the skins are dope though, right?
Yeah, but it's like it sucks. They're cool, but then I'm like, all right, I have to pay the price by having this big ass trail behind me.
Well, you can't even use the blueprints. It's been bugged since the game started.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too is like you're buying all these blueprints and you can't even fucking use them correctly. It's like I just bought this $30 blueprint and I have to use a fast mag in a game where I'm getting stacked on by multiple people. That's just little complaints, but it's like, man, you fucking pay money for this shit just to get a disadvantage. I don't understand that shit at all. And that truly pisses me off because I want to use these cool skins and I'm getting fucked over because they want to add footsteps behind it. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I'm not gonna lie, that's got to be a bug, right? Like,
no, it's not. Here, look, I'm gonna screenshot right
now. No, he's not saying the footprints. He's saying the footprints through the ceiling.
No. In general, like, all right,
even
look at my
trailing. It is.
Yeah. Are you looking at my stream right now?
Oh shit, am I being difficult? But JD, let's see if you can.
Oh, please pull it up. Like, you need to see this shit. I just bought this electricity skin. Let's see if it pulls up. Sorry if I break it. Okay, you can. Okay, look at electricity on this. I just bought this skin. My friend's like, yo, bro, you got electric trail. I'm like, why am I even fucking buying the skin if I have an electric trail? And I'm running backwards too, so it's not as significant as if like I was sprinting forward. Yeah, look at it. I'm double sprinting. You can see the trail there. I don't. That's not gonna get fixed. I'm just saying that's like, if you're buying skins, at least make it where I'm not getting fucked over. I'm not crying though. I'm not gonna cry about that. That's a little thing.
You're cooking. No, I think this is the thing is we've all realized is this year there's a lot of little things like that to where like a lot of little things. Like, yeah, if the game was perfect and we saw that, we'd be like, Hunter, come on, man. Like, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But
It
like,
just adds to the
there's
bullshit.
Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
much bullshit that now there's just bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I understand what you're saying, bro.
Again, like someone in chat's calling me a crybaby, but it's like, dude, if you enjoy spending money on these skins and just like getting a disadvantage, go ahead, bro. Like, I'm just saying, it's not fair.
Hunter, I
And
have
there's
a very
also-
important question for you. Are you cold?
Am I cold? Yeah, I am cold. I've been editing, so I have to keep it really cold.
Okay,
until I
just
get burned on my
wondering.
PC.
Oh shit!
Another
Oh
thing
shit!
too is there's I don't know why, but Black Cell guns have a different rarity on floor. Like, have you guys noticed that? They make it seem like so exotic. It's
Yes.
like bright yellow outline. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, like what is this? I'm like, Black Cell, what the fuck? Like, why am I gonna pick that up when it has like
Marketing,
random
bro.
shit on it versus a 8 attachment gun that's
That's
not
marketing.
as flashy on the ground? Have you guys noticed that at all?
Yeah, it's
Wait.
marketing.
Okay, so when a gun's down on the ground, green rarity, blue rarity. Black Cell has bright ass like please pick me up yellow outline to it. I've noticed
Please
that.
pick me up. I mean, dude, Hunter, I love the passion because you notice stuff that I would never notice. And
Yeah.
like you said, like Tyler said, you know, you probably, if you submit those videos to the higher ups, bro, they're probably, oh shit, we didn't even know a lot of this existed. You know?
Well, I feel like they do. It's just it might be hard to figure it out. Another thing too is camo grinding in Warzone significantly broken. You know, this is the first
Oh, yeah.
time camo grinding's massive for anybody. You know, you go in Black Ops 6, majority of the time people are camo grinding. Zombies, people are camo grinding. But there's a big problem with Warzone right now where a lot of the camos aren't tracking, and it's way more frustrating because you're getting less opportunity to do certain camo challenges. So like, you know, there's a challenge right now that's bugged where the Tonto, I'm at 1 out of 5 kills where someone has to have a UAV in the air, and I have to get kills while the
Oh, yeah.
UAV's up. I've killed 50 people. It's tracked 1 kill. Same with like sliding then getting a kill. It doesn't track. I feel like that was also a big letdown because it's really frustrating. You know, I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna play the game how it's intended to be played right now because it's pretty messed up. Let me just camo grind, and then the camo grind doesn't even work. So it's like I'm just frustrated with a lot of things. Not the game design, just the bugs.
I think
Just about, that's it.
a lot of us can agree to that. And by the way, Hunter, if the way you fix that challenge, you have to kill the person that popped the UAV, just in case if you wanted to.
It's so specific.
Well, I'm
Quickly.
never
It's so
finding
dumb.
that guy.
It's so dumb. It's so
but
dumb.
some guns it works instantly though. Like some guns, XMG. All right, I just killed 3 random people.
challenge,
Done.
what challenge are you talking about?
In Warzone, the enemy has to have a UAV in the air, and you have to kill 5 people with it. So on a light machine gun, I
That's
just
a camo
killed.
challenge
Yeah,
Yes.
camos.
to kill the person that popped a UAV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, that must be a bug because the XMG.
That's the bug. That's
yeah,
the
yeah,
bug.
that's the bug. Because I did it with the light machine gun. It counted 5 kills. Bam. All right, we're on to the next one.
So what does
Next
the
one
challenge
doesn't
actually
work.
say?
Get kills
Does it
while
say,
you
like,
have a UAV up, but it's
it
doing
says-
opposite.
I'll tell you right now. No. I'll tell you right now what it says. Sorry if I'm all over the place. It says, let me pull it up. You know, it's one of those little things where like if camo grinding is a huge thing, and I feel like they kind of missed the mark
Well,
when
this
a lot of
this
it's
is actually
bugged.
something that like I would have worked on. Not
Oh.
camos. Like they did these. I'm not saying I was the person that specifically did this,
Yeah.
right? But like the team that I was on, like we did like challenges and stuff like that. Like all of we call them sticker book challenges. Like all of the challenges that you can go to like the barracks and look at like
Yeah, the calling cards.
the calling
Yeah,
card challenges.
okay.
Thank you.
I have a
Like
pull up.
those are challenges that like I worked on, right? And so the challenge stuff is super interesting. It totally sounds like a bug because
Yeah, it says get 5 kills while under an enemy UAV. And so with the light machine gun, did it no
Oh,
problem. I
interesting.
tried doing the Tano, doesn't work. Another one, Jay, Repulse, I don't know if you know how to fix it. Sliding, then getting a kill immediately after, that's not tracking either. For
Yeah, I
certain
don't know
guns.
that one.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I know people have
again,
figured out workarounds. I
Yeah.
know there's probably about like 5 to 10 people that actually have the Warzone camo. I think Reed
Yeah.
Boy, Metaphor, someone I play with, Earl, he has it as well, so he knows all the challenges. If you
Okay.
you know him, Hunter. So you can
yeah,
always
I
hit him
gotta
up.
figure out because that's like the thing. I've been personally like the last week grinding the camos because the game's just not worth taking serious right now in terms of playing as a battle royale. And it's
that's
like
why
that doesn't even
100%
work.
It's zombies, bro.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
I personally like I'm not a huge fan of challenges that are designed like that where it's like if you like I feel like the best kind of challenges are ones that's like you're passively going to earn them, like for example like the headshots are a really good example of like
Yeah.
camo challenges because like you could not even know they exist and you're eventually going to passively like earn them. But also like if you want to chase camos, like it's not hard to like specifically alter your gameplay to like, oh, I'm going to pay a little bit
Min-max.
more attention. Like I'm going to min max and, you know, pay specific attention to headshots or whatever. But like stuff like kills while under an enemy UAV, like that's outside of your control. Like you can't, it's super hard to go in and chase that camo. And even
Yeah.
like kills while kills while shortly after sliding or something like that, like to change your play style like unnaturally, like to always slide like when you see an enemy just so you can like,
Oh yeah.
that kind of stuff is awkward. I don't
Yeah,
I don't
like
love
I mean, it's
challenges
not
like that.
personally that hard for Rebirth. If you're just playing Rebirth, everyone's popping UAVs. But for certain
Yeah.
camos like point blanks in Warzone, dude, I'm like downing a
Yeah.
guy, taking him
Yeah.
as a shield, and releasing him so I can shoot him and get the challenge on. There's just certain things where I'm like,
You already did the SVD.
Oh, that one I heard is bad.
I'm not, no.
Like bad,
You
bad.
have to get a double kill while prone.
And it takes like apparently it takes 2 headshots and 4 body shots.
Bro.
But the gun only has 6
Hey,
bullets.
and I saw Metaphor doing this one, bro. He was playing in a party. They would down people and
Take him as shield.
Two of them would pick up them as shields, release them while he laid prone and shot them.
Yeah, so like
No.
Crazy. And
It's
people are
just-
doing it in Plunder with AFKs. That's how they have to do it. Because you're not
That-
gonna do that with real people. There's no way. The gun is too bad.
I don't know. I was so excited for the Warzone camo grind, but then I saw the camo. I personally didn't like it, and then I
I
saw
think
like
the camo is good though. I think that I do
Yeah.
like it.
I don't like it. I don't know.
I got actually does bring up another issue I think we've had persistent issues with is why do we keep bringing back the SVD when it's trash every single time? It's
Hey,
like,
there's players out there that like it, dude.
ooh,
I
It-
mean,
it, like,
I don't know, but they're
it
out there.
physically doesn't hit enough where you can use it.
It's like a Dragunov, bro. They have
Yeah.
I think the only thing that turned
man.
out for Warzone, like this last thing I'll say, the Warzone camo grind is stupid. I just think because you have to do it on Plunder. Like, it's not even.
Oh,
really
I've been doing it
Warzone.
all in Rebirth. I'm flying through it other than the bugs. I've been doing it all in
Really?
Rebirth. No problem.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy it. I just wish it would work. That's what I'm trying to say is like the game doesn't work. I would enjoy for the camo grind to at least work for me.
Yeah, and I know people are gonna hate me for this, and I agree with you, Ebates. I wish you weren't able to do at least the majority of your camos on Plunder, because like
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't feel like
I
Warzone.
feel
It's not.
more like the challenges should be conducive to be done anywhere in Warzone, regardless if it's Resurgence, Plunder. And it goes back to kind of what he was talking about with the challenge selection. Some of them just don't make sense for the gun. It feels like they went through and they kind of said, okay, we're doing 2,000 headshots. Same thing with like zombies, 2,000 headshots. Well, when you pack a punch these pistols or this sniper, they don't work effectively. So you have to do a different strategy. Well, it's not like they went through and fine tune it. It felt like this is what we're doing. And not somebody actually tried to do the challenge with that weapon, or else they would have figured out really quickly, like, yeah, that challenge is kind of whack. Obviously, there's got to be some element of challenge, like get 5 kills without dying with this sniper rifle or something. All right, cool. That's a little bit more of a skill gap, get a bloodthirsty. But to make it where it's like, oh, I have to rely on somebody calling in a UAV.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
tough.
let me leave a UAV on the buy station. Let me camp in the bush. Wait for this person to call it in. I got you. Like,
I'm actually gonna do that. I appreciate that, Jake. I'm gonna spam by UAVs and just hide next to the buy station and hope that someone sees them.
yeah.
I'm gonna go do that after this.
Oh man, Hunter, I love your videos, man. I can't lie.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, fellas. Any last thoughts?
I'm done.
We good. All right, fellas, boys, Tyler, Hunter, T, appreciate you guys. I know you guys haven't been on the pod or haven't been pod in a while, so appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to come on, man. Ebates, J God,
Appreciate it.
you know, I got
Yeah,
mad
thanks
love
for having
y'all.
us.
Thank you guys as always, boys. And guys at home, let me know if you guys enjoyed this podcast. Tyler, I'll be honest, we all loved you on the pod, man. From what I can hear,
100%.
they were all
Yeah, you
everybody
were
was
awesome.
very
Appreciate
really.
you coming.
Yeah, this was awesome.
mean-
You know, we've been trying to do this for a while, so
Yeah, a long time, a long
I was
time.
excited to finally do it, and hopefully we can keep doing it. So
I'm down, man. Guys, thank you guys so much. Can we get a W Tyler, a W T Captain, a W Hunter, W Ebates, and W J God in the chat? And everybody at home, we'll catch you guys in the next one, baby. Peace.
There
Later,
you
man.
go.
Ooh.
You know what's
GGs,
actually
fellas.
funny with the challenge, the side one with the UAV? If you
Which
go
one?
into Plunder, people actually type in the game chat, hey, if anyone can help me with this challenge, I'll help you with this challenge. So they like challenge trade, which
That's OG.
under the letter of the law is boosting. But obviously it'll never
Oh,
be enforced
shit.
for that.
So is hacking. So
I wanna do that. Oh,
exactly,
dude.
exactly.
Yo, real quick in the chat, fellas. Zydril, that's Tyler's Twitch. If y'all want to go ahead and hit a follow for my man's, that's my goat. He streams as well, chat. So if y'all want to go ahead and follow my man Tyler, that's his Twitch chat. All right, fellas, what do we do now?
I would say when you
Go
play the
fucking
game,
camel grind.
if you play the game while looting, double check that inventory. It is 100% there.
Okay, yeah, I'll check that
On
because
your
that was definitely
monitor,
frustrating.
the actual squares are probably a half an inch. They're color coded to what category.
It's because we're both sponsored by Ghost, Harry.
Blue, purple.
Oh, what the
yellow.
fuck?
It's from Ghost.
And, well, they don't have any yellow ones on the floor loot. I don't think that's the good category. But and they're like half an inch wide. Well, they're squares, so that's the dimensions on each side.
But you have to open your like
where you would drop ammo and all that. When you open that up,
to see
automatically. They don't have like a box or a pretty box where it says lootable perks or nothing. They're just like icons.
Well,
like
what's weird
zombies.
is
in MP, can you see
one.
them all the time? I can't remember. Honestly.
They pop up on the side when you respawn.
When you respawn, oh, okay.
Well, what's interesting is they have a little box in the bottom right of the inventory for like miscellaneous items or some shit. Like your key card goes, like the phone goes in Rebirth. Why don't they just throw it in there? There's not much to go in there, but they have this big section where you can have like 9 different things. So I'm like, I don't know.
I remember when we went to Next and they're like, oh, what'd you think of, like, you could see the perk? I was like, I didn't see them at all. And then they're like, oh, they're in the bottom right there. So then obviously since I've been playing now, I see them there. But I don't know if they were there before.
I feel like they just need to be on the screen like all the time. Like,
yeah, exactly the same way the other ones are. Like it would just pop up next to it. And,
yeah.
But I don't know the logistics of it.
Yeah, JD, if you can get everybody, that'd be dope. There you go. All right. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm gonna do, fellas. Yeah, Jay God said it went to nut. But I'm debating on, do I play some Fortnite? Speaking of nuts.
No, bro, I think
I actually thinking about it,
guys. I think
that sounds
Fortnite's
fun, actually.
dude.
It looks good.
Call of Duty. I'm just gonna keep playing Warzone, man.
You got Delta Force too coming out.
What is that?
It's kind of like a Battlefield-esque.
DMZ.
Yeah, it'll have an extraction mode. It has like a Battlefield mode. But there's rumors that they're like building a BR silently alongside it, so it's hard to say.
Hey, we got DMZ coming back, hopefully with Modern Warfare 4, right, guys?
I hope so, man. I can't wait to grind, bro. Can't wait to grind.
Path of Exile 2? No one knows this?
I think DMZ would work if it's like area. What's that? Building 21? Anyone play DMZ Building 21? That was actually a really good experience. I hope that if DMZ comes back, they bring it more to close quarters indoor shit, because that was actually like really fun. Hector, you ever play that shit? DMZ?
What is that? No,
Building,
is that the...
okay. Building 21 was actually badass in DMZ. It was so fun. So it was like a shadow company facility that had multiple stories, parking garages, and they'd have the AI, but you'd fight players, and the reward was like blueprints and items and stuff. It was really cool.
I actually don't ever recall doing that, I'll be honest.
That was fun, but man, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like playing against NPCs. Like I want to.
Well, there's a place for them, obviously, but the way we had it at launch, I don't know.
You know,
yeah, that was bad.
NPCs, brother. We've seen your 2-box lobbies.
Who?
Come on, man.
Wait, who?
I'm talking about Hector, man.
You're talking about me?
Lobbies, man. Yeah.
I think you're confusing me with the other Baka, bro, Pops.
Oh, that's right. Wait, no, he's on the 3-box. I heard about now.
You guys enjoy strongholds to any capacity in Warzone or no?
Say that again.
Strongholds. Did you guys enjoy them to any capacity, even when they removed AIs from them?
I heard people liked them. I didn't like them.
I felt like they were way too powerful because of the UAV pulse.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Strongholds.
Strongholds even post like AI being removed.
Am I weird for actually liking strongholds?
No, I liked them when they removed AI.
I actually liked them.
Okay, when you have Urdikstan, a map that has like no superstore, it kind of was nice when everyone would divert to the stronghold, be like, all right, I want a stronghold. Let's go fight a bunch of people for it. I personally enjoyed it, but yeah, those are long gone, man.
Yeah. I mean, they died with Warzone 2. Didn't we have them for a little bit?
So they would randomly spawn in Warzone in Modern Warfare 3. They would randomly, yeah. And then they had the fortresses, but they were really useless. Like the fortresses didn't really do much when they had those. They'd be like a juggernaut and some AI, and you wouldn't really get like anything worth going for in those.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm be honest, bro. I barely touched anything to do with DMZ, like dead ass. Like, anything that was even remotely close to that vibe, I was like, I'm good, twin.
There's
Yo,
a whole
Jake,
big
you said-
community for it.
I think I played.
I know,
10
right,
games
Cap?
of DMZ, dude. Like
Really?
Yeah, it just wasn't my thing either, and I didn't have to work on. I didn't have to work on it, so.
How did you do so many?
Honestly, it was probably while I was working too. Like it was for I don't know, for whatever reason. I did the. Wait, was there a combat record for DMZ?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it came later on. Though. I think it
eventually
was.
It came
ended
later
up
on.
one.
Okay, so that's probably why I played it a little bit because I had to work on that. So.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we didn't even touch on the pod, bro. What happened to like the advanced combat record in Warzone?
Let's not talk about combat records.
Tyler, you did that when you were there. Right?
I hope they show back up again and that they work. But
well, like the combat record right now is so minimalistic in Warzone. You used to be able to like see like even legacy stats like MW2. You could see
wait,
like.
I thought you can't even see the combat record in
No,
Warzone.
there's
Isn't it just
one.
leaderboards?
Oh well, it's like a stat. Yeah, it's just stats.
It's just leaderboards, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine combat records will come back eventually.
Yeah, it was nice seeing just certain stats like your last 20 games, your last 10 games,
100%.
last 5. Yeah.
I
believe
mean, combat
I didn't
records
have
they're a staple, right? Like they.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wait, there's not even regular, just like default.
No.
only
You
for
can't.
MP. I
Only
think.
for
Wait,
MP.
MP has them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, not even zombies.
Did they work this year?
Wait, what?
They work. They work pretty good. They even
They work
show
this
you
year? Okay.
what your stats are per prestige. But it kind of ends
Oh,
up
yeah,
being
that's cool.
useless because we prestige in like a day. That's just like already moved to the next. Like each
Yeah,
day,
or
it
you're
was, like,
playing
tracking-
zombies.
Yeah, it was tracking each day of my stats. It's like.
Yeah, like 4 of my prestiges have no stats because I was
Zero
just playing
stats,
zombies.
yeah.
Yeah.
They took
But the
them out
stats
for the
are pretty good.
integration. Really? That's actually insane.
I mean,
rebuild it.
I'm not surprised that they again. It's complicated. It's not like it was just a copy paste type thing. But
So it'll come back though.
I don't see
Hopefully.
why not. Right? Yeah, it's. I can pretty confidently say like it's on the radar to come back, and they probably tried to get it in time.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not gonna say too much.
We'll lose it
Wait.
again next year, though. So
Wait,
it's-
Tai, I have a question, bro. I know you probably don't. Like. What was the thought process behind elims? Maybe you do know, maybe you don't know. Because like
I did.
Got to make the diamond dads feel better.
Listen, you guys probably everyone thinks way too hard about this. Like it's
Okay.
really not that complicated. Like elims, it 110%. Like you can't sit here and say that. Obviously, elims feel better for the vast majority of players, right?
sure.
Everyone likes to complain about elims, but nobody's like adding an asterisk to their Twitter post about 200 kills on Nuketown, right? Or 200 elims on Nuketown, saying, "Oh, but it's elims," right? So like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like nobody's doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, like I understand that for Warzone and specifically for like competitive Warzone, elims are not the ideal solution.
yeah.
I mean, but the scoreboard shows kills still, right? In fact, I think it's silly that the scoreboard shows assists. Like it should show elims and kills. Like it doesn't need to show assists, right?
Because it's the
So-
same thing, right? Or am I faded?
the
For
limbs and
Warzone?
assists are the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're like
elims are just are essentially just your kills and your assists added up.
combined, right?
Yeah, and then Big Map shows your death too. So, Resurgence does it though. It shows. Why not? Why not? I'm just trying to figure that too. Why not show deaths and Resurgence on the scoreboard?
I
like
don't.
Big Map
I
does?
just. I don't think that assists need to show up on the Warzone
Yeah.
scoreboard. It doesn't make sense. I think it should just be like showing elims and kills is fine, right?
I
And
feel like they
here's
should
the thing,
switch it.
Show kills and then elims.
Yeah.
Yeah, kills
Well,
and
I
then
mean, they
elims.
kind of want elims to be the main stat, right? And that's what they're showing in the score feed. That's what they're showing in the score feed is elims, and like it's not even like elims are inaccurate or we're just catering to casuals. Like
Well,
there's
right now
also
they are a little bit bugged.
well, that's a different story then.
Well, like if you
Right.
kill someone and then they die, they'll come out of the air, and then if they die to somebody else before they hit the ground to reestablish like they're back in the match, you'll get 2 kills for that guy.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't even
that's
talk
clearly
about that.
that's clearly
Oh my
that's
God.
You'll have
clearly
random
that's
moments where you
clearly
just
a
you got to
bug.
kill even
That's
though you didn't shoot
clearly a bug,
anyone.
right?
No, and some
Yeah, that's
you don't
clearly a
even
bug.
get the kill for killing somebody. Sometimes you will literally snipe somebody that has full plates in the head, and it will give who else previously killed him that kill.
Yeah, that's a bug.
It's if they're in the air.
Well, but like if you are you saying like if someone else downs someone and then you finish them while they're downed, or you're saying
No.
like you're the
No,
one that
so-
downs and kills them?
Yeah, so right now if you down and kill somebody, there's a chance it doesn't even give you the kill on like your kill, like on the top right. There's a
Well,
chance you
'cause
don't
it's
even get the
giving
kill.
to the other person.
Yeah, the person that previously killed them, it gives them the kill sometimes.
That previously killed them, but that doesn't make sense
Yeah.
because they're not
Because they
down, right?
haven't like
Like,
touched the
they're
ground yet
previously
or
No,
damaged.
like
reestablished.
they respawn through research. They
Oh,
come back.
clip of this somewhere.
respawn.
I mean, it was in
no,
the
that's
presentation, but
clearly bug. That's clearly bug, right? Like, oh,
yeah,
that
it's
was-
been
that
around
was-
since launch, but it kind of dilutes the idea of like you feel like you're like going for records, like personal records, like YouTube videos, like kind of
Yeah.
dilutes that when you're getting random kills and then you're not getting kills.
I mean, bugs aside, like obviously that is
Yeah.
a separate conversation, but like just the elim system in general, like it's not even like, oh, we're just catering to casuals either. Like it's just consolidating the stats. Like how is it like, oh, if I do 90% of the damage on this guy, but then Home Dog over here just does the last 10% of damage, but he's the one that gets credit for the kill. It's like I technically did more, right? So it's like that's kind of stupid that it's not my kill and that it's his. So like a limb kind of like it helps address some of those situations. So it's kind of, again, there's obviously pros and cons, and clearly studios feel different about elims. Like there's a reason why Treyarch likes to do elims and Infinity War likes to do kills, and
Yeah.
That's one
Oh,
of
true.
those-
Wait. Has that been a
That's a
thing
good
for a while
question.
then?
What?
Black Ops 4 had elims.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh.
Wait. I have a question. JD brings up a good point. Are elims going to be the main thing for ranked, or is it going to be kills?
I hope it's elims.
Okay, so
Oh.
You want to know why I hope
taps
it's elims?
are- well, not when they're
Taps.
downed, but I guess it's technically taps.
I think elims, as long as they obviously sort the bugs and they kind of get the logic right, I think elims actually helps ranked. Because what did we ask for all last year? We asked for kills and assists to be worth the same amount of SR, right?
Basically, yeah.
Like that's how it is in competitive, right? Like it's just your
Right.
team kills. Elims kind of helps get us closer to that, right?
Oh, because if your teammate gets in a limb, technically, would you also get it?
I mean, that's how limbs. Well, oh, sorry.
If it's an
I mean,
assist.
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. J God, I think you said it takes away taps. I actually think it might make taps worse.
Maybe.
Because now
You could just shoot people in
everything
the air.
because now it's not just assists that you're getting. It's like you're getting an elim every time
Right.
you do damage, right?
Hasn't it been like that? Where you could shoot
No.
somebody and then a
No,
different team
you
kills
could-
them?
No,
and
if
you
it's
get-
another
but
team, you
would
don't get it.
You
Oh,
would-
okay.
No, you would.
No, I
Yeah,
think you
you
do
would,
get the elim
yeah.
if someone else kills
Yeah,
them.
you do.
You'd get an
Wait,
individual
what?
assist. So, like Hector.
Well,
let's
so
say-
that's what it shouldn't be though, right? Like I don't think, and that's why elims. Elims, I honestly think I don't think there's really any downside to elims in MP. I think elims are awesome.
No,
I
it's the
think
same-
that
yeah.
it's a lot more complicated in Warzone because we're introducing like a third party.
People in chat are overreacting right now.
aspect.
I don't think they actually realize what like people in chat are overreacting. Like so basically, like Hector, let's say I was top prison, I shot a team down at factory. Let's say I shot them once, and then another team killed them. I would get the assist, but only I would get it, not the whole team.
Yeah.
So now
I ended up
basically-
getting a clip of the inventory thing. So you guys
Is
Basically,
that
if
the way
I-
it's been?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's always the way it's been. But now, basically, if I third party a fight and another team killed them, not only I get the SR, but also my teammates.
So
Well,
it's the
only,
same
oh,
thing.
no,
then, right?
only if your teammates did damage to them though, right? Like you're not
No,
getting
because now technically it's an elim instead
no,
of an
but
assist.
but you still only get you don't get elims for like if I did 0% damage and then you
Yeah.
you kill someone, you get an elim. I don't if I didn't contribute to the fight at all, right?
Right, but you still
Yeah.
get points. You still get SR now for the like teammate elim.
If they count
Oh,
elims.
I see.
No.
Yeah. Oh no. Actually, yeah. You're
No.
100% right
There's more
because
SR,
there's no
yes.
kill and assist SR. It's
Right,
just
right.
it's
There's more
just
SR going around now.
Oh,
Totally
I
wrong.
see
That-
that,
what you're
that
saying.
depends
They'll have
though.
to
That
figure it
depends
out.
because that's assuming that they're gonna keep the same idea where you have a limb or you had kill SR and then you had a team assist SR. With the elimination system, do they keep team assist SR, which now turns into just the same as elims,
Right.
like you just get credit
Right.
for everyone, or do they
Right.
take that aspect away and you now no longer get credit for
'Cause
kills that you
now,
don't contribute to?
If
right?
it is like that, you could technically tap teams. Like you could third party a team and just shoot like both teams.
Yeah.
It's just like me. This is just me being hypothetical. I could just like tap everybody. and then
Everybody.
If they
You
kill each
tapping
other,
people left and
if
right.
they kill each
Yeah,
other,
so
kill each
I
other,
hope.
we all get the elims. Like everybody would get.
Well, do you currently get into like if I'm doing damage to someone and then another team like team B downs that person and finishes them without me doing any more damage, do I still get an elim in the
you
game
get an
right now?
assist.
You
You get an
should.
assist.
which is
within
an
a
not
limb.
in a limb.
Oh, in the current game. My bad.
In the
get
current game,
limb.
in the current
Yes,
game,
yes,
you do
yes,
get the
you
limb.
do
See,
get the
I
limb.
actually, yes, that's where it gets tricky.
It's gonna
'cause,
create
like,
some weird issues. They'll have
Yeah.
to figure out.
Tap, 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 tap.
Mhm.
I'll be honest, we totally like I've had all these conversations. I just don't remember what the solution ended up being, because like I worked directly on the elimination stuff, like, you know, as like writing documents about like all the different scenarios and all the different rules and like how you should apply things. Obviously, this was a year ago, and so like I don't know how much that's changed or what ended up making it into the game and stuff like that.
I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. I think this is actually better than what we have. It's just the hard thing is SR values are going to go up. Like people are going to be getting probably more SR, so they're
but they just adjust the SR values, right? Like
exactly.
whereas last year it was like what were the SR values at the end? Like is it
I'll
like
be for
5,
real,
10,
like,
15 SR or something like that, right?
Yeah, because
that just goes down. It's, you know, 3, 7,
when
10.
when I play Resurgence ranked, I would look up in the sky and I would tap people once in the hopes that they would dive down and die to a different team. So I personally would get the assist. But now if I did that, my whole team would get the SR because it's like
think about how whack that's gonna be though. Think about like if that's the case, think about how bad ranked will be, where it's like, yo, you're just shooting people left and right, hoping that you just get a bunch of assist points.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. But that's how it is right now, honestly. That's how it is. But it'll be better on big map because people in Resurgence aren't like, they're not coming back down. Like big map is a little bit more spread out where people aren't just like Resurgence. You know, it's not like they're just coming back and forth. So honestly, like I would always look up and just tap people once and then hope that they dive into a different team.
Yeah, but hopefully, I mean,
they might have to differentiate it of like an assist from an enemy or an enemy team versus assist with your teammates.
Well, I just feel like
better.
I feel like you just shouldn't get like maybe you shouldn't even get an elimination if your team's not the one
if your team wasn't the one that killed them. Yeah, I agree.
If your team's not the one that killed them, then
because that's how
you just
competitive
don't
it is.
get
It's
an
not like
elimination, right?
it's not like I killed or I tapped a player and then like let's say Hector's team killed them. It's not like I'm getting points for that in like World Series of Warzone. You know what I mean? You're not getting points for assists. So
yeah, well, I feel like that's just how it should be. Like even in pubs, like even in pubs, that I feel like that's how it should be. Is that like, you know, I think eliminations. The point is to make sure that like the whole team is being
playing
like
together,
playing together, and like being equally rewarded for like their contribution to a fight, right? But like you still have this aspect of more than just 2 teams, and so like if a third team is the one that actually comes in and finish, like you shouldn't get an elimination for that, right? Damn. I feel like that's how it should be, and I feel like
we'll
that
never
works
know.
for
Yeah, we'll never know.
Yeah, you gotta wait and see.
But I don't think it'll. Yeah. It should be fine. I actually like what you said. As long as you are the team that got the kill, then everybody gets the points.
I'm assuming we get if it is coming Thursday, we get a block tomorrow.
I hope so.
I hope so. Maybe Tuesday. I also tweeted out the perk thing that I was talking about earlier, and I put in our DMs.
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
You got tagged in it by somebody, Hunter.
Oh wait.
Okay.
Oh, I see it now. How did I miss that? That doesn't even look that bad.
That's what I said. It looks exactly like zombies.
That's a real thing?
Yes, I just did it right now. While
I don't know, Jay. That looks Photoshopped. That looks Photoshopped.
Wait, what?
I've never seen this.
Skill-based perks.
You did that right now?
I just played right now while we were yapping. Yes.
Here,
I
looted 3 perks so I can get good example. I actually have screenshots. I can actually put the ones of me looting them because I wanted to see how many I could get before I died. And then as soon as I got shot at, I just left the match. So I was chilling.
Wait, so where's your far right HUD that has the miscellaneous box?
JD, can you bring it up, JD?
So see, okay, so Jay, your HUD looks a little different than mine. Mine on the far right, I have a black box that says like miscellaneous or like missing items or something. Even when I have nothing in it, I have a. Why do I have that then? I can find a clip of it, but I always have a black box on the right side of the screen that's always empty. It says missing items.
Yeah, I'm gonna get JD to show it to you right now.
So there's the 3 I put on the thing. You'll be able to show up. So you can see when I pick up the first perk, the second perk, and then the third. I put it in our DM.
Skill-based HUDs is insane.
Is it a HUD type? How does this?
Yeah, where's JD at, bruh?
Hold on.
Oh, there it is. Wait,
like
no,
I don't have any special settings, but nobody knows it's there because you don't ever open your backpack ever.
I gotta pee a beer back.
I've never seen that.
Okay, he has it on the screen.
All right, Chad, it's at the bottom. I've never seen that ever. Wait, what? I'm gonna go pee a beer back.
Like,
that's just so much information like on the screen on a screen that like you're not meant to. It's not like you're staring at the screen. Like hopefully when you bring this up, you're doing something really fast. Yeah. Right? So to like have the perks down at the bottom, like that's just hopefully that's something that is you know they can be like, oh,
Hunter's
like, this is
really
an easy thing to change, right?
Dude, 'cause
They
you're
just
not-
need to be
yeah,
added next to your perks that are always there. Because your perks, if you have perks, they're always there in the bottom right. If they can just stack those up alongside, that'd be way
You
more
would think,
easier
you
to
would
see.
think, yeah.
I'm just confused because you don't have that black box I was talking about on the far right.
Or you know what else would solve this?
No
Fuck.
perks.
Got rid of perks.
Yeah,
We just got rid of perks.
I'm down.
Wouldn't have to worry. So
I'm down.
imagine if we had a version of MP where you didn't start the game with all your perks.
That would suck.
Bro, everyone would be so.
Oh wait,
jacked.
we did have a version.
I was
like
saying, wasn't
wait,
that
we
MW2?
did, and nobody
did.
liked it.
Yeah, MW2.
That's not throwing shit. I'm not trying to throw shit like to
Yeah.
former coworkers.
Clip it.
I swear,
Wow.
I'm not.
I
I'm
did
not
like
trying.
that
But like,
system, bro.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same. It's the same idea. Like,
What do you
I
mean
think
you get dead silent or you get you get ghost round 4 or something?
that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I think perks and Warzone just don't agree.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I wish there was no perks. I agree.
No,
talked about it, though.
he integrated perks.
Yeah, I mean, just have like base perks or whatever. I mean, like I said, it's never gonna get fixed though until Warzone and multiplayer aren't separate.
Yeah, there's bigger. Well, there's also bigger pressing issues.
I mean, at the very least, like if there was a middle ground, like even if you could just choose your, like maybe you can't choose your loadout because like obviously looting and all that stuff is such a big part of you know how a BR works, but like even if you could just choose your perks like, before a match, and like there's still like that interesting sort of, you know, gameplay of picking and choosing and pros and cons to different things, but it's just like it's such a massive difference when such a huge portion of players probably aren't even playing with perks until halfway through the game,
Right.
and then they die anyways and lose them. So
What did I miss, fellas? What did I miss?
So much, dude.
We
actually
still don't like
we're about to
perks,
do a
dude.
whole nother podcast.
We just. I'm going to Warzone to show you this missing item box I'm talking about.
Missing
'Cause
item.
I'm not-
Oh,
Yeah, because I'm seeing like this perk HUD where it looks like zombies when you go in your backpack. I don't ever see that, so I'm like going in to look myself to make sure I'm not like delusional.
All my stuff is default except for my mini map is square.
I'm hopping off, fellas. I will catch you
yeah,
guys later.
I was about to say, if anybody
GG.
needs to go, don't feel like you guys understand. We're
Your boy
we're
needs
just
some
yapping.
food.
Peace, peace, peace.
All right, later, Bobby.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on, guys. I
gotta
appreciate
do
y'all.
this.
I'm out of here. Peace, boys.
Later, bro. Later, man.
All right. Hello, chat. We're here. Guys, hope you guys enjoyed. Different style of stream, obviously. Got it, so I mean it was cool to be on for sure. Definitely covered a lot of stuff, a lot of things that need improved, but I mean like I said, I'm having I did, Harry. I did. I had a lot of fun. I am having fun with the game. I think what's most frustrating is how bad it's received in general and how bad like viewership is down is what really hurts. And thank you for the 2. Yeah, so I know I missed a few donos during the stream, guys. Let's see. Let me make sure I cover out everything here. So we had Alcoholic at the beginning of the stream. I know I thanked that for 2. Jay, welcome back, 26 months. Omer had a 5. I know I missed this one. I'd actually be fired to get someone like Matt Scrance on one of these podcasts. So I think the problem with that, dude, is I think COD is like so... They're very, very careful about what they say, like publicly. I think there's a very large checks and balances of what they say publicly. So I think having an active dev on, it would be very like he wouldn't be able to comment on very much. So I think that's almost like defeats the purpose though. Like even Tyler, who he was a former dev, like there was a lot of things that even he can't comment on. So, and even like when I got to go to the Fortune Skeep event last year, you know, like there were so many questions that we were asking the devs and we were like, yo, like, what about this? What about this? And they were like, we can't comment on that. So yeah, it's tough in that regard though. And then Flash out of 5, Flash, I appreciate it. Yeah, I know shadow bans did get brought up briefly. It's obviously a big issue. I know they bring the shadow ban up almost every podcast. It's a huge issue. So it's just unfortunate. Ant had a 2 earlier. I appreciate it. Flash had another 2. Ant just dropped a 2. But yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, it seems like chat loved Phoenix when he came in there. But yeah. But I mean, it was dope to be on the podcast. It was talked about a lot of good things. You know, I'm hopeful that given the fact that they did make a decent amount of progress in like the first week of it being out, and then this past week they've pretty much been gone on like, you know, Thanksgiving break and stuff. I'm really hopeful that over like the next like 2-ish weeks before they go on Christmas break, they keep cranking out stuff, they keep fixing things like that. I mean, I'm optimistic that it's just frustrating that like with every update, it's like 2 steps forward to get some cool new things like Omni Movement, but it's like 5-6 steps backwards with bugs and just issues and whatnot. So I'm really hopeful they listen to things about like the visual recoil, about the fluidity and snappiness of different things. I'm trying to make a video and give more detailed examples on that. So we'll see. We'll see. Now you're chilling, Bone. I am going to wrap up here, guys, because your boy's hungry. I need to get some food. Stream tomorrow is going to be like afternoonish. I have a doctor's appointment in the morning, so I can't do a morning stream. It'll probably be like noon or 1-ish in that ballpark. And then after that, we'll probably do more morning-ish streams, like 10, 11 a.m. start. But yeah, it was a good conversation for sure. Time for the after party. But yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all. Your boy's gonna get some food, get some sleep, and we'll be back at it mañana. Okay. I appreciate you guys. Peace and love. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna be out of town Thursday through Saturday. So definitely nothing. We can't do anything Friday. I will be out of town Thursday. So yeah, this is gonna be a Monday through Wednesday stream, and then after that it'll probably be maybe a Saturday stream because I'm gonna get back Saturday morning from being out of town. So I apologize. We'll see, Harry. I think the wifey still probably gonna hang out there for a bit. But all right, guys, I appreciate you all. See you tomorrow for stream. Peace and love. Bye.